Well, welcome to Game Changer Weekly. John, how are you doing this Tuesday evening?
We we made it online. Screwball, how you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing great. It was nice to be back on the field in the UCC for the first time since October 2023. First time at a GCW show in 11 months. So just great to be back on the field.
I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
even know it's
man.
been that long since the UCC. Over a year, huh?
Yeah, just that was the last time I could make it. Didn't get there at all 2024. I did go to the collective in 2024, but obviously that was in Philly. But still, either way,
Okay.
great to be back in my home away from home.
Hell yeah, man. It's good to have you back over here too. It's like you're a familiar voice now.
He's the only one with solid internet.
we're not far from each other. If everybody knows,
Yeah,
like we're
I could get
miles.
to either of their houses probably in like 30 minutes if I needed to.
Oh, we could walk it. We could
I don't know
probably
about
walk.
walking. You guys are like over at Green Valley area. That would not be a good walk.
Yeah. I'll meet you halfway. You know how it
Okay.
used to be.
Yeah, we might have to maybe out the Palms. Actually, I think so.
Yeah.
That's actually
Is that what you're thinking? I also want to say welcome to Clown, Reed Harris Cooper. What do we got here? Kendrickiel, I think I said that right. Vertigo Mama, Big Chump. Looks like we had a raid from Effie, so thank you, Effie, for that raid. Let's see here if there's anyone else that I didn't get. Everybody's talking today. This is awesome.
Yeah,
There we go.
Vegas is definitely bigger than people think. That's for sure.
And then the wrestling scene is smaller than people think.
I
don't know about that. I think that
Yeah,
it's been a bit since I've seen you at a show live. It's grown a little bit in the last couple of years.
nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I kept seeing the same matchups. That's local. You know what I mean? That's just local things.
The promotions have definitely grown a little bit as far as like not booking the same matches. Like FSW cards are not the same as Pride style cards or Grap House cards these days.
Yeah. Well, I'll just start with this real quick. My background. I have a different background. We're in the process of changing a lot of things. I still have the lights in the old position and whatnot, but I got a lava lamp that can't be seen because it's too big for the middle shelves. I got our plant podcast up there. And yeah, we had this over here. I just got this. I thought it was cool. So I guess that would be a nice way to announce that on March 11th next week, we'll have Matt Tremont on the show. We're really looking forward to it. He's confirmed and ready to roll. We're going to put him through the meat grinder over here on Game Changer Weekly.
Yeah, it just fresh off that big announcement that we got over the weekend, I believe. Matt Tremont versus Minoru Suzuki at Spring Break Night 1.
And this interview will also be conducted with him a couple days after his birthday.
Nice.
Yeah,
happy early birthday to Matt Tremont.
Hell yeah, man. And we just wanted to make it a celebration of his career, and I thought this would be a great time to have him on, especially as GCW UV champion.
Yes, he'll be going into, I believe, some title defenses the week after in AC.
Hell yeah. I'm really looking forward to it a lot.
Our little run of deathmatch ultraviolet champions is kind of going nicely.
You know what? I was just thinking for the Chuds, you know what I mean? We haven't really delved into the deathmatch scene, and I felt like, you know, not a lot of people are really getting those key independent interviews, and here we are grabbing them, so we might as well take them, and we're all fans, whether we want to
who else
admit it
has
or
got Danny DeMonto, Dr. Redacted, and now Matt Tremont in the span of about a little over a month?
And 2 weeks after Tremont, I'm locking in someone else from the deathmatch scene.
And yeah, after this weekend, I locked up someone else from the deathmatch scene as well. So
I'm just waiting for a yes. Happy. And we have March locked down. We're already talking about April, and I'm hoping to lock down the Tuesday before the collective for Brett, so he can come on here and talk a little bit. We'll see, though.
Oh, I'm about to say we could do that one live, maybe. He was probably
never know.
Be here, yeah.
I'm not against it. We'll have to see how everything goes. I never want to promise with him.
We'll see if I don't have a ticket to something on Tuesday. I could probably hop.
Hell yeah, man! It'll be a crazy weekend starting probably Monday, if it starts right.
And not only that, but it's just going to be nice to see a lot of familiar faces. I know some East Coast people are coming out, and they're really looking forward to meeting us and we want to see them too. So it'll truly be a collective of the fans also. And yeah, if you see any of these smiling faces out here, definitely come say hi to us, man. Because
Yeah.
again, we're
If
just
there's a
fans.
wrestling ring at some point during that weekend, I will probably be there because I have tickets all over the place, not just the Palms. I got tickets at the Swan Dive. I got tickets at got Deadlock tickets at the meet. I got everywhere to be.
Let's talk
I
about
don't
it. Hold
know.
on, just for a second. Yeah,
I don't
run
know
it
how you
down,
would have
man.
the patience to drive all those things because I saw like your hit list for WrestleMania weekend, and I'm just like, oh my god,
Yeah,
all that
in fact,
driving
there's
to
been
be
additions
insane.
to it since then, but I can pull up my
Oh my god.
pin tweet on Twitter before we get into the shows.
Yeah,
Go
Screwball
into
does it right. If
I
everyone like he does it right for sure.
if I had the patience for the driving, yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, that's the nice thing about Vegas's size is, everyone I think is making a effort to like stay relatively close to the strip. So like nothing's like that far apart.
Yeah.
Like I can get to everything pretty easily.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the Pearl too. I've seen some videos on
I keep
YouTube and stuff
forgetting.
because well, I wanted to see where the seating where the seating situation was, so I knew where to kind of like buy
Yeah, I
tickets
went to
for
the
certain things.
TNA shows last year that they had here, and there's not a bad seat in the building.
That's what I thought I saw, dude. Because the video when they were showing the pan around, it was like everybody has theater seating. It's like everybody has a good seat. You can't be blocked if everyone's sitting down. Is what it looks like.
Yep, that's kind of how it is. Anyways, you did ask about my schedule. Wednesday, I don't have anything locked down yet, but I am thinking it's either between Big Valley Wrestling over World's Greatest Wrestling or what they're doing at the Swan Dive. There's a all women's lucha show that is looking pretty
Hmm.
sick. And I believe at the Swan Dive after that, there is something going to be in the 10 or 11 p.m. Slot on Wednesday night. There's a promotion by the name of Azteca that is based out of Tijuana that's going to be running that late night Wednesday slot that I will probably be at as well. So depending on how the primetime slot goes. So, but that's not even anything that's on that pinned tweet because I haven't bought any tickets on that night. But Thursday, 12 p.m. noon, Pandemonium Pro Wrestling at the Fremont Country Club. Once that's over, I'm going to take a short drive over to the dive bar. Bovie's got his own promotion, World's Greatest Wrestling, running their own show there at, I believe, 5 p.m. It's going to be a
Hmm.
short, about an hour and a half show. It's a pretty cheap ticket. I believe it's only like $10 for admission. So if you're kind of looking to do stuff at a budget, there's options for you for that slot, and pretty much everywhere around town. Like if the tickets for even the collective, if you're not really diving with that, but you still want to make the weekend, like there's stuff all over the place. And then after that, big deathmatch show. Mark Saras are presenting Cenobite. There's going to be some insane stuff going over there at the dive bar. So if you really have that bloodlust and you want to get some light tubes going in, that's the place to be. After that, by that time, pretty much the only thing that I would be able to get to in time would be Progress at the Collective. So that will be my first Palm show is Thursday midnight.
And that's just Thursday.
Yeah, that's just Thursday. So I'm like 5 or 6 shows in already.
Mm-hmm.
Friday at 11 a.m. there's a all women show, Podermania. So if you want to see like a lot of the women that are in America or on the North American scene, like a lot of the best are going to be there. We got people like Ashley Vox there, Kaya McKenna, who I've known for years, but finally getting to see live for the first time. She's going to be there. Not going to dwell on that one too long. After that, 4 p.m. Deadlock Pro Wrestling at the meet. After that,
I didn't even see
go ahead.
that card announced, man. Like I'm trying to see
I
who's
don't
on
think
that
they've got a
card.
lot announced for it yet, but
Okay.
but yeah, there'll definitely be some stuff there. I know Adam Priest will be there.
I want to check them out because, like, yeah, they look like a very up and
Oh
coming, like
yeah,
fun
I'm an old
company.
New Legacy guy, so I've been watching John Blood for years, or John Bud as they called him on the Observer when he and the rest of the boys were nominated 8th best promoter of 2024. But yes, I'm hugely excited for that. I got to see the triple show they did last year at in San Francisco, but I'm excited to see Deadlock solo offering. After that, 7 p.m. Pride Style. That's not even on the pin tweet, but they put tickets on sale over the weekend, so that's official. After that, 10 p.m. Grap House at Ferguson's downtown. And then, if usually spring break usually runs late. I'm kind of counting on it that year. So if there's
Yeah.
anything that's still going on for the culture, if I'm not too late for that one, I'll probably just buy a ticket. If that lot of that show hasn't gone by the time Grap House finishes. So that could be potentially a 5-show day.
Yeah, look at Reed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Saturday is kind of nice. Not a whole lot's running on Saturday, so I'm doing everything at the Palms. Effie's Big Gay Brunch at 11, GCW TJPW DDT at 2, and then there'll probably be a watch party for Mania itself at the Palms, I would imagine, or somewhere close by, so I don't need to go very far, because I will be sticking around for 11 p.m. Cluster. We can say clusterfuck, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Okay, yes, the clusterfuck. Can't miss that.
Oh, wait, I mean, we can't fucking say that.
Yeah.
And then I'm not done yet. Sunday, 12 p.m. at FSW Arena, Future Legends Tournament. I believe 9 or 10 women so far announced for that. Jada Stone,
That's cool.
Jada
I
Steele.
saw Future Legends coming back. I was excited for that one.
Yeah, the tournament they did in 2022 was pretty fun, and I think this one, with the lineup they've already got announced, plus there are going to be more names, that's looking like a great tournament to round off the weekend. So yeah, and then there's over 100 shows that have been announced so far in the area. So
I thought he was about to say that he was going to.
So
like, total, I can't go to all of them. I wish I could, but
we see each other at a lot of those shows. I remember having those times. I think this show I'm gonna cool it down a little bit, even though there's so much. Like, there's a lot of
well,
stuff.
it ain't gonna be in my backyard every day. Next year, New Orleans. You want to talk about a town with a very small scene? That's a commission town, so I will be very happy to just take the collective pass next year.
Yeah, I have the same feelings like once in a lifetime. You've been asking for this for how long?
Yep.
Okay, so I think we should get into some GCW.
Yeah, I think we should get into the stuff that's happened last weekend. So let's.
How about we go to the shows that Screwball actually went to already?
Yeah, well, one of them at least.
So yeah, 13 and a half minutes in, we'll rock and roll here. We'll start with this weekend that we just had. This is a 3-day weekend for GCW as they toured the Southwest United States. Friday night, they were live in San Diego at the Compound. Saturday night from the UCC in Los Angeles, and Sunday from the Nile in Phoenix, Arizona. As always, West Coast fans came out in flocks. One thing you'll always see on the West Coast GCW shows, packed houses. Screwball, you're with us because you ended up on 2 out of 3 of these shows this weekend,
I only did the UCC show, but I volunteered to do this one because I know the West Coast scene pretty well, so I still have some insights I can do on this one. I'll step out for the Arizona show because I was still getting back when that thing live aired, so I was kind of watching it as background noise. So,
sounds good, man.
Yep. So, if you want to lead us into match number 1.
All right. I Feel So from the Primal Compound in San Diego, California.
So the show opens with fans pounding the mat. This is a smaller venue, and the enthusiasm made it feel big. Most staff were here in their Primal shirts. Our camera guy was wearing an I Love Latinas shirt. Out of 18 wrestlers, 7 of them were from Cali. That's almost 40% of the roster. Giving it up to the fan who's always just to the left of the stage on the wrestling ring on hard cam. He always has signs, and I think he really has the wrestling spirit. You know, he never holds them in anyone's view forever. I just wanted to say he's my kind of fan, and I thought it was cool to mention him real quick. That's all I wanted to say just before we started it off. It just a couple light statements about such a fun little show here.
All right, our first match was Starboy Charlie versus Brooke Havoc.
Okay, Screwball, you're going to hate me. I'm going to be negative. I'm generally not negative, but you're going to hate me. I'm so sorry. I wrote here that Brooke wasn't as explosive as she usually is. I don't know if maybe there was something different going on here, but I felt like Charlie needed a higher profile opponent. I would have put Brooke possibly in the next match that's coming up as a women's three-way, and I would have considered putting Starboy in a three-way with Cartwheel and Price. There were moments where they were kind of going through the motions, whether they maybe acknowledged it or not. There was some awkward hand motion or handwork at times, and there was a little bit of lack of cohesion between the moves. I will say, though, I feel terrible. I'm so sorry. It did shine at times, but there were some others where I'm like, I don't know if this should be the opener. I'm more critical than I should be. I'm so sorry, guys. Our winner was Starboy Charlie here. He hit the Cosmic Swirl. Unfortunately, he kind of hit her in the legs, which she has issues with MCL and ACL problems there.
She's had surgeries on both of them. So the fact that she's even like able to do it as well as she can do is kind of amazing in itself.
Yeah, so I'm looking at maybe this was an off night because I know both of these performers generally always shine hard. So maybe one was under the weather, so it makes the dance a little more difficult. I don't know, but they both weren't up to where they normally are, and who knows? Sorry, Screwball. I know that these are Brooke especially. I know those are one of your people for sure. Like she's been all over the Vegas area, and she's just rocked it.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily agree, but at the same time, it's like you're entitled to your opinion, and that she's there'll be other nights for her and Starboy as well. So,
and off nights happen. That's why I said respectfully, this is just one of those things where I go, that's okay. It happens. If everyone was a 5-star, that would be an average 3-star if you watched every one of them like that. Sorry,
yeah, for me, it's just kind of like seeing like a friendly match. Like there was like because I know like they just seem like they know each other so well. Like it seemed more of a friendly kind of get together. But it's also like the San Diego, the start of the weekend, and it was kind of like just a teaser, I think. So I didn't expect much of it, but I saw like I wrote down it just looked like they had fun, and like I enjoyed some of their back and forth of stealing each other's the poses and stuff. That was kind of a thing for this weekend for me. I think I enjoyed a lot of people stealing each other's taunts.
and I will say this: I think one thing about this card, it was very singles heavy. So maybe throwing in a triple threat and then doing something else with the other one. I do see the logic in that because, I mean, this was more of a cozy show in comparison to the bigger pageantry of the next night. So sometimes that's just how it is. But yeah, I definitely could have used another multi-man match to kind of give it a little bit of variety. So I kind of see where you're coming from there.
I didn't even realize it. You pointed it out. To be honest, I don't like realize that stuff in the moment. I'm just seeing that. I'm like, yeah, it's all singles.
It's just when you get these smaller shows, you're going to see a lot of singles. It's a lot easier to bring in like a crew of, say, on 9 matches, you got 18 people coming in.
This could have easily been like an LA fight show if that was still a thing.
And a third of the ring was
that's not a bad thing. I'm not throwing any shade on anyone. Just that's how you possibly could have branded this show if in another time.
Yeah, I think the wall hurt it too, because like that takes away a third of the ring especially for a tag team. There goes like a third of the ring with the wall being so close.
I like when they use that wall. I also really wish that GCW would hang some flags on that wall, kind of make it their own home.
I noticed they had a TV that I don't think that was there the last time.
I don't think so either. I liked it.
I'll put both your thoughts together. When I watched the Arizona show last night, I thought the same thing. I thought on the TV that was by the bar at the Nile, they should have had more like the upcoming shows and kind of like little thing going on in that video, more GCW than just kind of what they had on. All right, our next matchup of the evening was Sandra Moon versus Zara Zakar.
Zara Zakar is actually.
Sorry. I'm about to say that. I was more worried about the last name. I messed up the first name.
Okay, so Screwball, you're going to hate me again. This is terrible. These are my first 2 matches. These are my only 2 matches that I'm negative on. Same thing here. Sandra Moon, I felt like was a little off the first 2 nights. However, I felt like when she got to Arizona, her match, she lit it the fuck up. Again, I don't know if maybe something was off. Man, I sound terrible. I've never liked this. again, I felt like, Zara and Sandra were just a little bit on two different levels. The fans were solidly behind Zara because this was her backyard. Surprisingly, Sandra pulled off the win here. Again, there were boos, but that's also because this was Zara's hometown. Also, she's a WWE ID prospect. That's huge to get a win over her. I kind of wanted the hometown girl to win also just because I'm a sucker for face shit. But I would say I would almost consider these two as kickoff matches, and I would start the show on Lloyd and move forward. But again, man, you guys are going to disagree. I'm so sorry. I love you both.
Yeah, I'll heavily disagree with this one. I thought this was actually a
On
good
this one,
outing
yep.
on their part. I've actually Jordan Castle actually mentioned like their win-loss record against each other, and I was actually at one of those matches. It was a tag match between Zara and G Sharp against Sonico and Sandra. Z Sharp versus Sonic Moon. That was a match that was ran about a year ago this time, I would say. But yeah, I thought they actually killed it here. I was not surprised to see Sandra heel it up here. She actually turned heel in Vegas pretty recently, at least at Pride Style, joining the Cartel de los Villanos faction with Sonico, Wicked Wicket, and Fatal. So I was not surprised when they pulled the hometown card for Zara that she would nicely slot in as the heel here. And yeah, I thought they had a good like explosive power match. Like, seeing Sandra against another like powerhouse and seeing her audibly bigger than the petite powerhouse kind of underscores like the muscle gain that she's been on in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'll kind of go with you there, Screwball. I know we've been kind of hard on Sandra Moon the last couple times we saw her. Like we kind of expected more because we've seen how good she can be at times out here. I felt like the last couple times we saw her was down, but I thought this was a good bounce back against Zara, and I thought Zara's always looked impressive when we've seen her, and I've like really enjoyed seeing her work. So every time she gets announced, I get excited, and I want to see her kind of take the same path Brooke is doing, kind of keep on these shows and travel with them a little bit more, so that way we could see more of her. Because I thought this was a good match, and I like once again I just think Sandra stepped up, and I enjoyed this one better than the first one.
Yeah, and I will say this. I think one of the reasons why Sandra went over here is, first of all, she was only one of two women that actually worked all three shows this weekend, the other one being Masha Slamovich. And she took the pins in the other two matches, including the women's scramble. So I think having her take the win here kind of meant that her taking the pin against in the scramble and as well as against Brooke meant just a little bit more. And I do think when it comes to Zara, I don't think she's going to be around very long. I think once she starts getting in on those WWE ID shows, those WWE Evolve shows at the Performance Center, they are going to like what they see, and she will be one of the first people that goes from WWE ID to WWE contract. That's how that's how high I feel about her odds here. I think. And thus, I don't think it really makes sense to invest too much on someone that I think is going to be gone before you know it.
True. Yeah,
that's
she's
a really
been
fair
solid.
assessment.
Yep. All right. Our third matchup was Jimmy Lloyd versus Rob Shit.
My first note: Shit is in great shape. I think his hair is slowly growing back, and we'll start to see the long locks again soon. Fans are chanting, "We love Shit." Lloyd was using Funyuns as a weapon. There was an awesome fight into the crowd with chairs everywhere. And this is where this was the first match on the card where I really felt the true GCW adrenaline kick in. So that's kind of where my original statement came from about the kickoff. But yeah, our winner here was Jimmy Lloyd, a short 7-minute match, but they packed a lot into it, honestly. What do you guys think?
I think the craziness was, as you said, perfect to kind of get the crowd energized. I've had energized after the first two matches. I kind of felt like they were now into it and felt like a GCW show. And yeah, I can see these two kind of go at it all the time. Those two are excellent together.
Yeah, I love seeing Rob Shit every time we get him in GCW. He's such a perfect fit for this GCW West Coast. We could have him on every show. He can work face. He can work heel. Yeah. He can pretty much do anything that's asked of him. He can do the death match. He can do straight match. Like, just just an all around like good mid card tool for the company whenever they need him.
When I saw it was him replacing Drew Parker against Masha in Arizona, I was like, oh my God, like, what are we going to get in this one? But like, first match of the night and how they did, I was like, yeah, Rob shit, like, give me more of him. Like, that was, he stepped up. So, like, he, as you said, he's able to fill in wherever you need him to. And that's what we always say about Jimmy as well.
Did you see what Clown said there? He says, that was my chair being used at one point. I didn't know you were at the show, Clown. That's freaking awesome. Or maybe you told me and I forgot. That happens also.
I'm about to say with this weekend, it was a blur here.
Dude, this whole weekend was an absolute blur, especially you. I can't wait to talk about Arizona when we get to your adventures, V.
I'm about to say Arizona have more to talk about. Now, like going back and like kind of talking this out, it's like, man, that was like 3 days ago. Like it feels longer than that. All right, a lot of wrestling in between that time. Next matchup was Alec Price versus Jack Cartwheel.
GCW Tag Team Champion Alec Price has his championship around his neck. He gets people hype and fans love him. They're in Jack's home state of California. Do you think, I'll just ask this now, do you think we'll see Alec Price with a WWE ID tag anytime in 2025?
I think they pretty much locked down their core right now. I think we got to wait a little bit of time for them to see how this experiment goes. Maybe if they do another round, Alec has a great chance of being in there. Definitely someone that, either way, regardless of whether the WWID continues after this batch or not, someone's got a bright future. And I could watch these two go all day. Like another set of guys with great chemistry, essentially West Coast, East Coast, like counterparts of each other. So definitely love seeing them anytime that they share a ring.
I want to see Alec go the Blake Christian route. I would love to see Alec more in Ring of Honor and build his way up. I think his style lends more to AEW than the WWE per se. But I think if like Blake Christian's kind of setting like there's one example with the ID, but I think he's shown another example of to go his route, and I would prefer to see Alec go that route in my opinion. I just want to see the freedom of his craziness instead of WWE locking that up.
Do you think
regardless though, like wherever he goes, like he's gonna make new fans and continue on. Like, and I just want to see talented people that I'm watching on the indies succeed when they get to the big time.
Yep.
Do you think Alec is a TNA guy?
That
could be
that,
with
okay.
Leon Slater and
him in an Ultimate X match. Let's see that.
I mean, those three I would build around the X division right there, man. Like Therese, Leon Slater, Alec Price. Yeah, I would like. I didn't even think about that. That's a good one too.
Then again, it's like I also thought Jay Vidal in an Ultimate X match was a block, and they never did anything with him. But I guess we'll get to that later on when he appears.
We'll talk about how TNA dropped the ball on Vidal completely. Going back here to this part too, Clown said that's where I met Sam and gave him. Okay, that's right. Now it's coming back to me. So Clown was watching the show where we had Sam on for an interview, and Sam had said his show and tell were those WWE figures, and then he had like the big box and everything with the ring. He said he was not going to unbox it or set it up until he gets all the wrestlers. Well, Clown had like 3 of them he was missing at his house and went ahead and brought him to the San Diego show, and Stackhouse just popped. Like he's happy as can be.
That's amazing.
So there we go. That's the story. Clown was listening to the show here and was like, hell yeah, I'll hook a brother up, and did exactly that. So Clown, thank you for being fucking cool. Like, period. Just being fucking cool is it's the way to be.
That was kind of cool to see one of our listeners make another wrestler happy because of our show. That was awesome.
I wanted to say here, I put this as my last note, and again, don't have to agree or disagree here, but I put this would have been my opener, Alec Price and Cartwheel. This would have been
that's solid. That's solid booking. Like I don't disagree with that, even though like, and you could have some of the other. I'd probably have it as the opener and maybe rearrange like the first and second matches to where maybe it's like second and fourth.
Yep.
I would
definitely keep, I think, Jimmy and Shit where they were. Like that way, you're kind of breaking up the types of matches.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Like what you were saying, like for the opener, I'm right there with you. I thought the energy that they brought, like once again, brought a different energy that Rob Shit and Jimmy Lloyd, like they carried it on, and that's where I really saw the crowd starting to really get loud and noisy for sure. All right, our next matchup is Cole Radrick versus Sam Stackhouse.
Woo. Two of my favorites again, Sam Stackhouse and one half of the GCW Tag Team Champions, Cole Radrick. Cole played up the struggle in a fun way. Sam's chest was lit up from those chops, if you guys remember. And also, I just want to say here again, I enjoyed Fuego on the microphone. Our winner here was Cole Radrick. What are you guys thinking on this one?
I love the way big guys get booked in GCW because they're not afraid to have small guys get over them in general. Like
Yes.
you see the way like the big time uses big guys, like and how they'll just squash small guys like 100,000% of the time. Whereas we actually get to see experimentation with the big man, small man formula in places like GCW, something that will become more relevant tomorrow when it comes to Sam Stackhouse's match with Starboy Charlie. But I just love the big man, small man dynamic in GCW because we can get different variations on it. We can watch smaller guys take down the big guys systematically. It's not always just a squash match for the big guy going over the small guy every time.
I was wondering too, with maybe possibly this leading into a exchange with Fuego and Stackhouse and Cole and Alec as tag champions, and I think now piecing together after Sunday how they could kind of go back to kind of this matchup and kind of show their friendship and how it could lead possibly the Cogers to Alec and Cole. But going just to this match alone, I was like, can we all just get along? I was hoping for like a finger poker doom here, no one get hurt. But it was kind of cool seeing them go at it. And yeah, I agree with you. I like seeing Sam Stackhouse kind of work as a face and heel as a big man. And we get to see him work as he should work and show his athleticism. And with this one, with Cole winning, I was kind of wondering how they would get to that victory. I thought too Cole was going to win too, just because of being tag champ. I was interested to see how they get to it. And I liked how creative they got for the finisher.
Okay, so maybe I'll go too deep on this one, but I've always wanted Cruel in GCW, and Cruel generally likes to protect his size and his character, and I always thought that was going to be one of the awkward things about booking if we ever got Cruel in GCW was the fact that his more old-fashioned style of protecting his size and character and whatnot would be kind of a difficult thing to deal with, I think, at GCW. And again, this might be digging too deep, but I thought it was kind of cool to tell you guys, if you really watch him, he protects himself. And to come over here, I don't know if he'd want to take a loss to someone who's 5'4" and under. You know what
Well,
I mean?
I mean, he did just take a pretty high-profile loss against Marcus Mathers on the New Year's Beyond show. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying here. But then again, he'd probably be competing more in the deathmatch scene, and there aren't that. The deathmatch scene in GCW is a little bit bigger than the likes of, or literal size bigger than
Yes.
the guys like Cole Radrick and Jack Cartwheel and that. So it probably wouldn't be that much of an issue compared to if he was working these straight matches.
Reed Harris Cooper said, what Screwball said. You're on fire tonight, man. I love it. Speaking of something else here, I noticed we're in purple. How do I do this? We're not usually in purple. I kind of like that we went to purple tonight, just as a nice change.
I didn't change it this time.
Also, I forgot to mention, this is episode number 51 that Brent and I have done together since Game Changer Weekly has fallen into our lap. And tomorrow, which will be, what time is it right now? In 18 minutes on the East Coast, you and I will have been doing Game Changer Weekly for exactly 1 year.
Nice.
51 episodes. I believe 23 of them or so all had guests on them. So before I forget, I just wanted to also slip it in there for those who don't carry through the whole night with us. My God, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's crazy when you said a
What
year
an
already.
accomplishment.
Yeah, it's been a crazy
and then
ride.
There's the year and then there's the year and a half before that with GCW Plant Podcast. So we're approaching 3 years here soon. He and I back and forth. We know each other luckily pretty good by now.
Dude, we covered so much of it. Like, I don't remember covering the collective for Game Changer Weekly last year. Like, I don't remember how we did it. Like, we just
Yeah,
went
no,
to
but
like,
you definitely did. I remember watching it.
I
Yeah.
was like, I don't remember how we did that. Cause like, remember the old days we would
You
go
just sped
through all
through
the
it pretty
shows.
pretty fast, and I remember there
Okay.
wasn't a whole lot to say. I believe on the TJPW
Yeah.
versus GCW show, but then again, I wouldn't blame you because I was there at all of that wrestling, and that was a ton of wrestling.
I was about to say, yeah, I started to piece together now.
Yeah, that's the one
Thanks,
where
Savage.
I watched all the shows but 3 of them, and B had been the only one between the two of us that watched that TJWP or TJP. Oh my gosh, what a night!
TJPW.
Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. There you go.
Yeah, man.
That's
And
easier to say.
so yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, man, go at it. Tell everybody what you thought about it because I had no clue. But every collective we try to watch all the shows, and it's damn near impossible to like have one show and cover an entire collective weekend. It's just
Well, remember
impossible.
we covered the LA collective. We literally covered every single show in its own little episode.
Dude, it was fucking. Hey, man,
Uh,
you know what though? We're gonna do what we need to do, and
Yeah,
hey,
we
man,
learned our
at
lesson.
least
Not
we
to do that.
attempted. Hey, if somebody wants to try harder, by all means. But yeah, we tried our best, and we're like, let's eat the whole fucking pie, and that's exactly what we tried to do. All right, all right.
man.
I just put in this one though that at the end of the match between Radrick and Stackhouse, that both came out looking better.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. As you said, two of our favorites.
Yeah, and I kind of like that we are building the potential like Fuego and Stackhouse versus Garbage Daddies because I mean they definitely need more matches. Like even if the Cogers are probably the end game, we definitely need
Yep.
to see some more matches besides that. Like there's just aren't a whole lot of tag teams in GCW, so we do need to flesh out the ones we have.
And I'm glad, as you said, yeah, they're starting to seem like a story is going to be happening here with the three of them, and that's going to be fun to watch. All right, our next matchup was the Stackhouse's tag partner, Fuego del Sol, going against Titus Alexander.
I had a couple small notes on this one. We were 1 hour and 16 minutes into the show, and we're already on match 6. I honestly thought this was going to be maybe like an 8-match, 2-hour, 2.5-hour show. And obviously there was a lot more left, but yeah, good back and forth. But I can't name a lot of big things that went on this one besides the finisher. I'm going to not lie to you right now that chances are I was really tired and I didn't write down any tit for tats on this one. So I'm going to just tell you, I know this is a great match because these two guys are fantastic. But outside of this flip, that move, I didn't have anything to really put down in my notes here.
I mean, the big thing that stuck out to me was the finish. Like that counter, that chaos theory was something else.
Is that brand new too?
What do you mean? Like
the way he countered?
Oh, I don't know if I've seen Titus Alexander have the chaos theory suplex that counter quite like that, but yeah, it was awesome to see, and I love that it just capped off what was some pretty good wrestling. And I do love that Jordan Castle pointed out the only reason we don't see Titus Alexander more in GCW is he's already got a full plate, Japan tours. He's in demand all over the country, and rightfully so. That's someone that if there's a second round of WWE ID tags, needs to be on it.
100%.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think he's what I think when we were having a whole discussion with Nick Wayne and how good he was, I was like, I think Titus is the one that's actually ready and to do something and could do something for a long time. For me in this matchup, what I took away from it was the growth of Titus. Like, I think this is the first time I've seen Titus since he's kind of been back from Noah, and he looked like the confidence, the character, the facial reaction, like he grew as a performer, like big time.
He was already so good going into it.
Exactly. Like his heel mannerisms and facial reactions even beforehand was good, but I think more of it was the timing. And like he looked just super solid and just made every little thing Fuego did look more important or more impactful than what it probably was. But like he did what he needed to do as a heel character and put Fuego over. And I think in this one, I noticed that for the weekend that Fuego had, there was his confidence of, even though the Zack Sabre match was unknown at that time, a big weekend coming up with the Phoenix crowd and the LA crowd. Like that's a big loop for Stackhouse and Fuego. Like especially with the Arizona crowd, they're like top 3 of the top, like the crowd cheers for him the most. And I know they get excited for this loop. And Fuego stepped up his game and looked really solid with Titus. I just saw like a fluid, solid like TV match between these two. And I was happy to see, like, for me though, Titus, like I don't think I've seen him back since Noah, but holy crap, he was like blew my mind, as you said. Like screw, like we talk, like, and you know too, like he's so good already. But seeing, like, for me, it looks, you see the next step. He's ready even now, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, and there's a reason why when Shelton Benjamin had his very short run with the Indies, one of the guys he wrestled was Titus Alexander.
And that Titus got Kenta now announced too. I think yesterday, like that's going to be insane. Oh, sorry. Yeah, good job, Titus. Though I for me that was a big one here. Next match was Super Crazy versus Ray Horace.
Okay, I'm going to bring this home like I do always. This is another example that shows Mexican talent do not disappoint at GCW. Horace brought the fight to Super Crazy, a 37-year veteran. Crazy was not lazy and came for a stellar 3-day weekend. This was the kickoff, and he wanted it to be big. Crazy pulls off a tarantula, but from the outside of the ring instead of the inside. I thought that was a nice variant we generally don't see. This match had hardcore action, a few chairs and doors. Some fan was drinking too much and talking shit to the wrestlers. Horace and Crazy weren't happy with him, and you could see that. Our winner was Super Crazy with a roll-up. At the end here, Crazy gets in a fan's face for being disrespectful. You see Horace run over to kind of cool down Crazy. This fan was acknowledged by several wrestlers during the event, and Drew Parker after the event. Being acknowledged by the wrestlers in this way means you're messing with the show. I was highly surprised someone, didn't say something or do something earlier. I don't want that to take away from the match, but I thought it was a great spot just to think about for a second, that I was really surprised the performers and Brett were so patient with somebody who was having a little too much fun, it sounded like.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really comment because I wasn't there, but yeah, I mean, some people just have too much to drink at these shows,
It
and
happens.
yeah, like unfortunately, the UCC has in it back when we came back from the pandemic. That was a reputation that kind of preceded the building for a bit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I saw one of those faces actually was back in the crowd. But I think we all know who we're
Yeah.
talking about here.
Yeah, that was, I was shocked too. Going to this match, yeah, Super Crazy looked solid. Like I didn't even realize. Yeah, I forgot he was on all 3 shows. But I love seeing him in GCW. Like he kind of fits in. It's like he comes in, has his fun, and gets out. And with Ray Horace, I think they like Horace. I think just needs kind of more of these high profile singles matches to kind of show everybody a little bit more. I think that what he could show off. I like seeing him in the scrambles and multi people matches, but I want to see more of him one on one.
Said they let a whole group in with a 24-pack of Modelo. We were yelling at them the whole night.
I'll say that Super Crazy was a chill dude when I met him, both in Vegas in 2022 and last weekend at the UCC. So it's like, yeah, it's like if you're the Super Crazy I saw is not the kind of guy that he's getting into people's faces without reason to.
Yeah. I told him, I said, dude, I've been watching you since the early 90s. He turns to me, he looks at me straight in the eyes, he goes, thank you. Then he turns back around with his gear and leaves. And that was all the Super Crazy I got.
All right, next matchup was Masha Slamovich versus Jordan Cruz.
And
first of all, shout out Jordan Cruz for making it back from that broken leg. The fact that he's here to begin with is a major W, and it's an accomplishment in itself. So, and the fact that he's back challenging for the JCW title when probably his biggest moment to date was the last time he challenged for the JCW title. The last time I was at the UCC against Jordan Oliver and got the crowd turning against Oliver. So, like, it takes talent to do that. And just, welcome back, Jordan Cruz.
Well, I'm going to put here it was day 385 of Masha's JCW World title reign. And I'm also a big believer in Cruz. If booked properly, I think with a little story and some mic time, we may have another WWE ID prospect here. What do you guys think?
100% agreed. Like Jordan Cruz ticks like every single box. Except I don't know. I haven't really heard too much of his promo time, so maybe that's like the one box that isn't ticked. But that's something that can be worked on. And but as far as like like you talk about blue chip raw athletes, like he's got to be up there, like alongside like the guys like Shane Mercer. Like that's a fucking match we should be seeing. Is Shane Mercer?
Oh, wow, I never thought of that one. Yes, give us that one. I agree with you guys with the promo too. I haven't heard much of them, but keep it short and simple. Give them like the Chris Masters little promos. Just come in, show off the guns, call everyone fat asses, and keep it easy
hell
for
yeah.
him. And I think
I
that
have seen him work heel, which we haven't seen much in GCW, but he can do that too.
I was about to say I kind of prefer him a little bit more as a heel. I think he just comes off a little bit more menacing, but yeah, he could go face easily just as well.
Yeah, he's such an impressive athlete that you can't not be like impressed with him, and that's an easy pop every time. So you definitely like if they want to do mega face, maybe I don't know, put him in some paint, like and do warrior style. Like he could pull that off.
That would be cool.
Well, then Havoc Pro Wrestling said, honestly, I thought Horace versus Super Crazy was a fantastic match. One of my favorite matches on that card on Friday for sure. How you doing tonight, Havoc?
That.
It's good to see Havoc also.
I was happy, as you said, for Jordan to get this big high profile match, but I don't want to repeat myself. I want something else from the belt. It was good. This match was good, solid, and once again just shows how crazy of a role Masha has been on lately.
I'll give a counterpoint to that, and this goes to something Brett tweeted relatively recently. I don't want to waste time putting up the actual tweet or finding it, but he basically said Masha is like a generational athlete, all tool player, like probably one of the best going on. We should be considering her in the same light as someone like Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Like she's that good. And to be honest, I agree, and I think we should be cherishing the time that we have with her, because it ain't gonna last forever. Like once that TNA contract is done, she is headed to WWE 100%.
Didn't she pop up on NXT already tonight? Too?
Yeah, she's already popped up in the crowd. So it's like she's on that Jordan Grace track. So my kind of point of this is, if there's anyone that's going to have a 1, 2, 3 year run with your intercontinental equivalent belt, having great matches every single time. Hi, Blake. But yes, anyone that's going to have like this run with this intercontinental style belt for over 500 days or whatever, having great matches every single time, having these blowaway performances, it's Masha Slamovich. Even if we're getting even if it's getting a little bit long in the tooth, we should definitely cherish the time that she has with us, because she's killing it every time. So like, and the fact that it's easily match of the night every single time, I almost don't see a reason why we should put it off, or just for the sake of putting it off. Or
counter to the counter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, keep it on the belt, but I don't mean this in a derogatory way. Like, I feel like we're kind of wasting her with putting her with the Jordan Cruz, with these kind of the local talents, instead of with the Alec Price, with a bigger name on the indies, and getting some better usage out of her for the company, for storyline, and for the belt. I feel like this belt's kind of, yes, she's been defending a lot and stuff, but I just feel like the name value, we could be using her in such better way than with these Adam Priest kind of style matchups. That's just my, like, I agree with you. She's amazing, talented, and I just feel like I don't want to see Kenny Omega versus Jordan Cruz. I want to see Kenny Omega versus an Alec Price, one of these people that are like being used in GCW a lot more than just when they're locally. And that's where I feel like the JCW title, if you're like, you could do these matchups without her carrying the title, but I don't feel like she's brought any extra prestige during her run that I think everyone probably thought she would have, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't think she's been wrestling the local talents exclusively. She's also had matches with these people as well, like, especially since she's been a part of the company for a while. So it's like pretty much every match you could think of, she's probably had at this point. So I don't really see the harm in having her wrestle the Jordan Cruzes alongside the Alec Prices.
I just felt this time in her career, like it's on the up, and then the talent, like her opponents are kind of going the wrong way, especially as a title holder. I would like it the opposite way, but
That
okay.
said, I do kind of fantasy book the end of Masha Slimovich's run, and I almost think like it almost makes sense that maybe whoever they're gonna pull from the local tier to the GCW like A tier, you could win over them in that position could elevate them. So like a surprise, completely out of left field. You just think it's the local match one day, and the local talent wins, and now all of a sudden you've got your next megastar.
And look at all these cool like title changes. It's just like in the last 2 days, and NXT had one tonight. Raw had a surprise ones. Like these are unexpected title changes happening, but like everyone's like, whoa, like the title change not just affects what's happening with the title, but it shakes up everything else with it. And I think that's what I feel the JCW title definitely needs.
I think that's
a
more of
shakeup
a
and
that's more of
story.
something with GCW overall. Like we've had nothing but long-term champions. Like we are kind of due something unexpected, an upset run. Like the UV title was on Rena for so long. Manser had half a year, and that was like the shortest title run of last year, and it sure don't feel like it. The title was on the Extreme title was on Maki for ages. The tag titles were on Violence is Forever for ages. So like there definitely wouldn't be a harm in like doing something pretty soon. Just you only need to do one curveball, and then all of a sudden you can have everyone else doing long-term runs, and we'll be second guessing it a little bit more throughout the
On our
process.
toe, we'll be on our toes for the next 3, 4, 6 months worth of shows of expecting or should be expecting it. But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, keep the fans on
Yeah,
the
we
toes.
just
We've
have
been
way
saying
too
that for
many
a while.
long-term title runs and not enough. We haven't had a short-term run to balance that.
Yep. All right. Sorry, I clicked out of the next matchup here. All right, here we go. All right. Our next match was the main event, as it was Drew Parker versus Arez.
Drew has had 38 matches at GCW, and this is his first against Arez. Arez was glitching in the ring and pulling off things that I have never seen before. I wrote here it was a great back and forth. Heavy chops in a smaller venue like this always have a great popping sound on TV, and we've really got it here in this venue. Arez letting Drew redo his move, I thought was also a funny little happening. Parker was thrown into chairs, hit with a chair. Parker was dropping blood heavily. He grabs a door and it's covered in his own blood within
Oh, that was
seconds.
a great camera shot. Like the fact that we didn't even see the door before it was already covered in blood was such a great visual. That stood out to me instantly.
Within 2 minutes, Drew's face was just completely covered in blood. It looked like he had a river flowing from his head straight down to his trunks. Arez was doing moves off the walls. Parker builds a door bridge, places Arez on it. Parker hits a swanton, and this is where he hurt either his ankle or his foot.
Was it on the swanton? I thought it was on one of the dives to the outside. Huh.
It was the swanton when he landed.
That's when I noticed he was favoring it, but I guess maybe it happened before he really favored it. Was one of the dives outside.
So, I mean, we can talk about that now, or we can talk about that with Arizona, but Brant had a chance to talk with him a little bit at the AZ show.
Once we wrap up the match, I want to talk about that in more detail, because it actually goes into the interaction that I had with him at the UCC tomorrow.
Oh, sweet. All right. Yeah, I had the winner here, Drew Parker, with a swanton bomb. I put that this match had brutality, creativity, and humor. It was a small variety package wrapped up in one match, and I felt like this is the cherry on the top in GCW style, and I think they delivered that.
Definitely. This is one of those matches that I think, like when you think of GCW and all the different styles that they bring together, the nice blend of hardcore, high flying, and technical wrestling, like this is a GCW match through and through. Just when you think of GCW, this is the action you think of.
There's a lot of listeners saying here that they feel it happened earlier too. Interesting. So like I said, right?
So what he told me was, he said that's when he first like really noticed, like, oh, it might be a problem, was on the swanton. But like he heard it a little bit earlier, but wasn't nothing major. He's like, oh, like it just felt like something a little bit, but on the swanton when he landed on it, he said that's when I kind of noticed, like, oh, this ain't gonna be good.
Ooh.
But yeah, but he was not happy for the next night, obviously in LA against Zack Sabre, and then in Arizona he was unhappy. But I have a little bias going into this match as well. Like Arez and Drew Parker are like my favorite. Like I almost went to the San Diego show just because of this match. I did see the first VXS match that they had, and that was just insane. And then unfortunately, it was cut short due to Drew Parker's leg injury. So I did talk to that.
Yeah.
That's when I talked to him in Arizona. I was like, "Yeah, you guys you have a rough time against Arez." He's like, "I just have a hard time against the West Coast." I'm like, "It's Arez in the West Coast you have a hard time against." And he wasn't. He loves working with Arez, but he knows that something's going on there as well.
Yeah, it's like when I went up to his merch table in LA, I was not aware of the cancellation yet. I still thought that the match was on with Zack Sabre Jr. I went up to him and I was like, hey, I finally get to see you live for the first time. I was supposed to see you live in Vegas a couple of years ago, but unfortunately you weren't able to go that time. And then he breaks the news to me that he's injured, and it's like now it's like. I know the more important thing is his health, but if I had a nickel for every time I was supposed to see Drew Parker live for the first time, but then he sustains a leg injury in a match against Arez a couple days prior, I would have 2 nickels.
Yeah, when I saw him grabbing his foot, I'm like, there's no way he hurt his leg against Arez again. Like, it cannot be happening. And like he kind of like at the beginning of the match, he pointed at his leg like to Arez, like, hey, remember this? Like, that's you, asshole. And I loved it though. I love both of those guys. Yeah, this was my type of main event, my type of
Yeah, let's make it clear.
action.
We're not blaming Arez for anything.
No. Like, but Drew Parker is like, yeah, I have bad luck against. So he goes, I love working with Arez too. I was like, yeah, you
Yeah,
two.
it's the curse of just
told me.
apparently this one matchup combination being done on the West Coast is like apparently a voodoo curse. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
Try
that's what
to see you next time.
Super said.
But yeah, it was. I thought it was a great way, obviously, to end the night, and I was kind of hoping it didn't affect him going into the next night, and yeah, I came to find out it did.
Oh, and the 8x10 he signed for me, he actually wrote LA ZSJ and then sad face.
Oh, oh man, that sucks. Here we go. Yeah, honestly, favorite match of the night, biased or deathmatch wrestling. Yeah, I'm more biased to that kind of style deathmatch wrestling as well. But yeah, that was an excellent way to end the San Diego show, and I'm glad they were able to get some craziness.
Hi, Scoop.
Scoop.
Scoop in the house. All right, that ends GCW. Oh my god, I forgot their first show. I Feel So already.
I never remember the show names. I'm terrible with them. It's just GCW, San Diego.
San Diego, exactly.
GCW Phoenix. Although I will say this is the first time I got to do a Coldest Winter show. Like the previous ones were just ones I couldn't make it. So nice to get one of the regular names in the rotation that I hadn't got yet.
Joey Janela and Sean Waltman. That will stick with me forever.
Oh right, man, I wish I could have been for that one. That turn looked sick on TV.
I saw the first 2 beers being thrown. I turned to my wife like, let's get out of here. It's about to get nuts. And yeah, we left right when the craziness started. All right, first matchup. I guess I should go over the first card, right?
Yeah, get the official intro in. Yeah.
Holy shit! It's all about professionalism tonight, everyone.
I'm just surprised I got internet.
I mean, if you saw, I could go into what happened before the show. I mean, someone did ask if I had the plug. You saw that tweet, right? Really not the first time I've been asked if I had weed by a GCW regular, but I'll keep that one in the back pocket. But yeah, it'd be the least surprising person. No one's shocked that Sabu wants weed, right?
No, not Sabu.
No, yeah, pure, clean cut Sabu. Yep.
If it made him look like the way he did at UCC, give him all the weed he wants, man.
Oh yeah, and by the way, he totally made someone's year when he actually had the weed that he was looking for and got to smoke a joint with Sabu. So that story does have a happy ending. But I guess I didn't explain it fully. But before the show, Sabu went out to the fans that were already in line and asked who had weed on him, and looking for a smoke, and made someone's year when he was able to provide the smoke and get to smoke a little bit with the legend.
EC dub right there.
And then actually before that, I was at McDonald's and getting a food before the show, and MLJ stopped by getting his order, so I got to have dinner with MLJ before the show.
Did he ask you for weed too?
No, I think he already had his plug going.
Well,
Uh,
one thing that I noticed at the UCC was that the lighting had changed.
For the
Did you
better, in
notice
my
that when you were
opinion.
there?
Well, the big thing I noticed right away, since it had been a year since I'd been there, but I also this wasn't present the last time, was all the little artwork they have on the
I
sides
was
now. I thought that added a lot of color to the presentation, got kind of eliminated some of that white.
Yeah. I was
the
worried that they
painting.
would lose some of that yellow glow, but it looks like it hasn't affected it. And the paintings, I was surprised how modern they were. I almost thought they'd go for a more classic look inside there, and looks like it works to me.
The one thing I thought about the last UCC show, it was actually too white. Like I thought they had the lights up a little too bright. So having
Agree.
the all the colored modern paintings, I thought kind of neutralized some of that a bit. And I thought I don't know how I haven't really looked at the stream aside from clips on social media, but what I saw in person and what I saw on those clips is probably some of the best I've seen the UCC look. To be honest.
Mm, that's so good to hear. I'm looking forward to going back. I think tickets are on sale for the May show this
Fortunately, the
Friday.
May show's not going to work for me. It's on one of the weekends I have to work, so
Oh, damn.
it's like this one was on a off weekend, so I didn't have to use any PTO to go to it. So, and besides that, I'll probably be hurting financially from all the stuff at Vegas weekend. So we'll see how the summer or fall goes.
Yeah, we've got taxes, we've got Vegas
Oh man.
weekend, then we've got, yeah, yeehaw.
Yeah, that's gonna
Anyway,
be hurting. My wallet's not gonna be happy that weekend.
we'll all cry together. We're not far from each other.
All right, the first matchup for GCW's The Coldest Winter 3 was a six-way scramble as it was Zeta Steel, Dark Sheik, Megan Bain, Sandra Moon, Vipress, and Zara Zecker.
I will
There
keep
you go.
this extremely
Got it
short. Although not always perfect execution, the match had tremendous energy. And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to GCW, especially with the young people, I'd rather have energy sometimes over perfect execution. I'm not kidding you. I like hunger. Zeta Steel is an absolute badass. I put here bright future. It was good seeing Sheik. I feel like we haven't seen them in quite a while. I did not see enough Zakur and Vipress. Our winner in this one was Megan Bain. What about you guys?
All right. So a couple things here is with always the fun with the scrambles attending live is what the cameras don't see. Before we've during the intros, there was kind of a little bit of a like war on the seats with Zeta Steel and Dark Sheik. Like they were going back at it. For each were sitting in a chair. On Dark Sheik was on my side. Zeta was on like the side to my right, and they were just kind of like doing like the your usual pre-scramble beefing. The
Yeah.
picture you saw of Zeta Steel like sitting on the chairs was from that. Let's see here. What else was trying to? They had something here, but I don't remember. Hang on. Okay. Also, a few things I noticed I picked up on. There was initially there was kind of a WWE ID alliance between Zeta and Zara that was played up a little bit. Also, there was a lot of teamwork between Sandra and Sheik. Last weekend, they teamed for the first time at Grap House, and they definitely like if they wanted to run as like a regular UCC team, there's legs in that. Like they have chemistry. They just need to get some good moves together, and that would definitely be a team to watch out for the future. Let's see here. And also, there was quite a bit of interaction, at least a little bit, between Megan Bain and Zeta Steel. Of course, their announcement of their match later this month in Chicago was kind of a social media uh, bit of a thing for maybe some of the wrong reasons here. It stirred up a little bit of tribalism with this AEW and WWE thing. But let's focus on the fact that that's going to be a badass match, and they did some things that maybe might be building to that.
That was the big thing I took away from that match too was that interaction and then how it's going to lead into the WWID versus AEW kind of booking and how that's going to work out.
But yeah, the idea that anyone's going to be shooting on each other, let's get rid of that. That's not
No.
happening. They're professionals. They're going to work a badass match, and the stuff that we saw here maybe want to see it even more.
Well,
yeah, this was the good match. Sorry, John. I was just gonna say real
no,
fast.
no.
This was, I think, a well booked match for the LA crowd. Like all 6 competitors were perfectly like LA central there. I was interested. How was Zeta's reaction there? She was pretty heelish, right?
Yeah, everyone was getting cheered for the most part, but there were audible boos for Zeta just because they know she's a heel. Like they're just playing to it. So, but yeah, everyone was pretty beloved for the most part here.
Yeah.
The only thing that was kind of a negative was it was completely 100% obvious that Megan Bain was going over the second it was announced, and that's what happened. But yeah, like she's at the top of the pecking order for a reason, and this match influenced it. But yeah, like other than that, like obviously the men's scramble in comparison was more of an open field.
Yeah. Well, also, Clown also mentioned here, Sheik is closing in on 100 matches. So let me help you out with that one real quick. Dark Sheik is at 97 for GCW right now.
Yeah, you
Our
did
closest
mention
one-
that stat last week, and she only wrestled once, so not quite there yet.
Nope. And then Jack Cartwheel's our closest at 98 matches right now. 2 more for Jack. And so that could happen in the next weekend or two.
Yeah, he's definitely the more likely of the two. That's
Yeah.
definitely. But yeah, nice to see both of them getting that triple digits soon.
Yep. All right. Our next matchup was Starboy Charlie versus Sam Stackhouse.
Okay, so for the review purpose here, I'll say that Starboy was supposed to fight Fuego, but Parker was injured. We just talked about that a couple minutes ago, that ankle on the previous night. We had very much a David and Goliath story here early. The opening sequence had them fighting in a corner, and it was good enough that they must have coordinated it. Sam hit a running cutter. Very rare to see. That was very impressive at the same time. Starboy brought in chairs to even the odds. Good job on Starboy for removing Sam's arm from under the ropes before the pin attempt. Sam was eating chair shots to the face. He raises a defiant middle finger in the air. Sam eventually takes 1 shot too many, and he's down. And Starboy finishes him off with the shooting star press. Our winner here was Starboy Charlie, and I wrote 7 to 8 minutes was a good match time. They told a quick story, and they filled it up nicely. What do you guys think in this one?
I just love the story of like Starboy using the chair to cut down the bigger opponent and then uses high flying to finish it off. Just solid small guy picking apart the big guy, almost like a hardcore variant of what Bret Hart used to do to his bigger opponents.
Wow. Nice call.
Yeah, I like the psychology there and seeing Sam kind of trying to keep the dominance, and then as you said, Starboy getting desperate. And I loved how he like went right for the knee too. Like that first shot was like right to the knee to get him down. And commentary did a great job as well as
I haven't heard anything as far as commentary goes on this show because obviously I was there. But Jordan Castle and who else was on commentary for UCC? MLJ.
That was pretty much it, I think.
I'm going to double check that right now because I feel like it was 2 or 3. Like somebody may have sat in for a second here. No, just says MLJ and Jordan Castle on this one.
Yeah, but I would count on those two to really fill in those gaps, and I'm sure they killed it.
Jordan
they're getting comfortable.
I have that in Phoenix, like the commentary, how well like they're starting to mesh together. But like it seems like they're not even calling matches; they're literally just watching it and having conversations. But like they're so entertaining. But they also tell a story. Like Jordan does a good job. Like Jordan knows the West Coast group so well. And
he's called so many of like Brooke Havoc and Sandra Moons and everyone else's matches.
And the more we see him on GCW West Coast programming, it's like it absolutely shines through. And
shout out to him. He's making his Stardom debut Mania weekend.
That announcement.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, he's hitting a lot of goals, and rightfully so.
Commentary did a great job all weekend long, but Jordan Castle with this match specifically.
I know we had a special guest on Sunday, Ethan McLawmaster, who I also thought did a pretty good job, but we'll get to that later.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, we'll get into that one later. But I heard his voice halfway through, and I go, "Who's that?" And I had to look him up, but he did a good job.
All right. Our next matchup was a tag team match: Bollywood Boys versus Los Desperados.
I love both of these teams. Bollywood brought the dancing, Desperados brought the lucha. fighting into the crowd, and then they're fighting in trash from a trash can. I think that's gross, but I'm one of those hand washers. Emil counting the kicks, Ares delivers, then called himself a mathematician. Like most Desperados matches, I recommend checking this one out. Our winner in this one was Los Desperados.
Always love the Bollywood boys. We definitely don't see enough of them. Definitely
Agree.
team to watch out for every time we head to the West Coast. Kind of loved how they were beloved with their entrance. They played up the dance and everything, but as soon as it called for them to go heel, like they switched up on a dime, and it's like you have to be great to do that so quickly.
Oh, Havoc Pro said Ethan did fantastic. Yeah, we'll get into this soon, but I'll say it now just in case Havoc leaves. Said he's going to be calling some of the Havoc Pro EFED collective in April, the week before GCW's collective. Excited to have him on there. Also, I believe I feel like we've seen a little bit of Havoc stuff. This was either in Patreon or this was also on Twitter.
I think it was a space thing that
yeah.
Brett called him out on and helped push some of his stuff. I remember
that's cool shit.
Some of those graphics do trick me, man. I got to double check. I'm like, who the hell's it? Oh, damn it. They got
shout out to my good boy, Tom's Customs.
I was just about to say they're getting up there with Tom's Customs where I got to start checking for dates and times and some random bullshit of win, never kind of thing. Yeah, good work on those graphics. Yeah, back to Bollywood. You guys said it just as well as I did. Like, you had the perfect Bollywood point where they bring the energy and the fun and excitement, but when it's time to be the dastardly heels, they do a very good job. And Desperados just consistently have good, fun, entertaining matchups, no matter what the combination is for tag teams. And yeah, it was another Gringo Loco UCC classic match.
And just shout out to Arez real quick. I was at his table here. I bought a trading card alongside my Gringo Loco purchase, but I forgot the trading card. And before the show, it's like he was walking away from his booth, didn't have the trading card there, but he made sure when I went to use the bathroom in between the segment later with Joey Janela, that he made sure I got with that card that I ordered and paid for. So good,
nice.
Just good shout out for making sure doing good business when he could have easily stiffed me like some scumbags would do.
Yeah. So you were pissing, and he's like, "Here you go, dog."
No, I forgot to. I grabbed my Gringo 8x10 because they were sharing a table, but I forgot the trading card there. Realized it, but he was already like walking to the alleyway. Before the show starts, so he didn't have it on him. But he made sure when I came back later that I got the merch that I paid for.
I just want to make sure you didn't get stiffed in the bathroom.
Oh no! I was coming back from the bathroom, but he was like, that's just when he was already there at his table then.
Awesome. I'm scared for that new merch drop he's gonna do, man. Every time I see like even the current merch, like I those jerseys and the hats, I just have to buy one. Like it's right there for me.
Yeah, Gringo had some sick merch jerseys on his merch table this weekend. It was a little bit out of my price point that I was willing to spend, but definitely
That's why
later
I'm scared.
on I might, yeah. But I think he was throwing a lot of stuff in it, but it's just I didn't have the budget for that this time around.
Yeah, I still have his Gringo Loco hat. I love that floral hat. I should be wearing it.
Yeah, I have a Gringo Loco small bra and body that I bought from him one time. I could probably grab it real quick for a little bit of show and tell.
Yeah, I got the shirt where he got bloodied up from Psycho Clown.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, he got the hoodie. All right. You look a little too much gang affiliated there.
I'm gang affiliated.
Yeah, I see Clown has a similar story with Gringo making things right here. Yep, there you go. I always love to see that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, he was cool. Yeah. They're both always so cool. I always had Arez took my money this time instead of Gringo. Arez and Drew Parker.
And you know how I feel about Gringo. We're miniature neighborhood guys for life.
All right. Our next matchup is Fuego del Sol versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh boy. Let me get a breath before I say this. Welcome back, Zack Sabre Jr. The overall wrestling level on the card just went up. Real wrestling happened, and more of this at GCW would be good. A Fuego coast to coast, great angle by the camera. So if you're in here, Ash, great job. Someone hit it right on the spot there. Could Sabre hold a championship at GCW and defend it once a month? What do you guys think about that?
I went off. I got a lot of notes on Zack Sabre and Phoenix, but yeah, he's like one of those ones where he just belongs. Like
The
he
only
fits.
downside to that would be after this run of like champions that weren't around for a while, like there's only going to be so many opportunities to bring a guy like Zack Sabre Jr. in. I wouldn't want to chain a title to him for that reason. But anytime we get to see Zack Sabre Jr. in GCW, it's definitely something to be celebrated. And I would definitely love to see more of it, his schedule permitting.
You know, now that you're here, I haven't had a chance to ever ask you, Screwball, how many times a month should a GCW championship be defended in your eyes?
That is a loaded question. I definitely
Yeah.
think every show should, at least every big major show should at least have one defense here. I mean, it kind of depends. I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer here. But also, when you consider the amount of titles we have and the fact that we're just not throwing around like candy, there's not 20 different titles in GCW, especially now that we got rid of the Extreme title. You know, the fact you can have one title off a show and the others can make up for it. But, you know, I think like the more of the criticism to the titles at this point is I probably could stand to see like maybe one or two more frequent title changes just to keep everything, keep us guessing a little bit. But, you know, I think for the most part, the way it's being done right now at this moment, as far as frequency, is exactly what we should be getting, especially when you consider that Effie and the Garbage Daddies aren't just defending in GCW. Effie's been defending his title wherever he goes. Even though this was my first GCW show of the year that I attended live, this is the second time I got to see the GCW title defended because he was here last weekend at Grab House defending the title. So, and that's actually something that I'd love to hear more about is these title defenses and other promotions. I don't know if we'll ever see a title change hands at a promotion, and maybe that's kind of one of the downsides of it is that it's kind of a foregone conclusion when these matches happen. But you know, there's definitely some interesting developments that in the titles that recently that maybe could be expanded upon. Maybe we could see a title change outside of the promotion if we really wanted to keep people on their toes. But maybe at the same time, maybe we should only be doing these title changes in GCW shows. I'd love to hear counter arguments either way.
So my thing is, I agree with you. I don't think every title needs to be on every single show, but I think like once a month would be good for each title at very minimum, just because like even if you're not defending it, you could be building a little story to the title defense. Like I just wish there was a little bit more, as someone was saying earlier, like you got to build the, like Brett focus on long term. Like I get it, but it's independent wrestling. You got to capitalize on, as we talk about, like we have some of these talent this week, but next week, who knows? Like, look how fast we lost Billy and Nick. And even though we were kind of expecting that for a while, I just feel like while we have them, why not have some fun and do some stuff? And then, hey, if they still stay, guess what? We have them longer. Let's do some more cool shit with them. It doesn't have to be these year-long programs. Like, I'm cool with doing that every once in a while or like for the right build, but I feel like it's just being forced, and it's being forced to like the Hammerstein show, the collective. Like, I would love to see these random, as we kind of were saying, like these random title changes, even if it's lost on a Friday, then hey, gain back on a Sunday, or somehow
we just need a little bit more spontaneous.
Keep us
just
on our
a little
toes.
bit. Once you've done it once, then it's like you got people guessing for a while. You don't need to do it maybe for years before you need to do another spontaneous change.
Yeah, and I just feel like you could be building these stories throughout a month to build to a title shot. It doesn't need to be defended every time they're on the show.
Yeah, like we didn't see the UV title this weekend, but the other titles made up for it.
True. Brett had spoken many times about how you know, the independent scene is just so quick moving and it's so fluid, and I can see the benefit of having a long-term champion because, of course, that brings some stability to GCW and whatnot. But at the same time, I like what B's saying, where we do need some more spontaneity. When we see the JCW championship, I already know who's going to win. You know what I mean? And the GCW champion, I kind of know who's already going to win. Same with the tag. So being that it's such a temporary type situation with independent wrestling, I always say that we could go and see Megan Bayne at AEW, or we could see former GCW champion Megan Bayne at AEW. And one obviously sounds better than the other. And it's always nice to have at least attached those 3 letters to a championship, because then no one can take away that, you were at that company, you were a champion. And I don't know. I saw men and women cheering for Megan every time she delivered any kind of a punch or kick. And I'm like, that's a champion. And I'd love to just see her carry the belt, even just for the ladies in the crowd for a month or two.
We gotta point out something. She does have a title shot, though. She does. She is the winner of the Do or Die Rumble, and the fact is, AEW had a show that night. They could have easily pulled her for and didn't. So I guess she's still on the table for now. It seems like.
I hope so. I've been calling her since day one. I said if we had a women's division, she would turn it on her head. I'd strap a rocket to her, send her straight to the top.
And that's kind of the thing everyone worried about when she made her AEW debut is, do we have her now? Like, is she going to get pulled off all her dates like Ricky Starks was? But for now, it seems that they're respecting those indie dates. That could change at any time. But, we do need to remember she does have that do or die title shot. And maybe that's something that could be happening at spring break on a Joey Janela booked card. Who knows? But either way, it seems like she's in play for the meantime, working a bunch of Saturday dates when she could easily be at Collision.
I just hope that's what scares me. Like, while we have them, let's just do some fun with them. Like, I would rather say like, oh yeah, I did this and that, and then I had to figure out something to do with them other than I almost had this done, but I waited too long and then you missed the opportunity. Oh, my screen went black. There we go. All right. So we already announced this. Fuego versus Zack Sabre Jr.
So, our winner was Zack Sabre here. I put that if that type of wrestling was matched on the card with deathmatch wrestling on a regular basis, GCW would be on another level tomorrow.
Yeah, how about just Fuego del Sol in general? Like, ever since he got his contract not renewed or whatever with AEW, that man has been wrestling like he's pissed off about it. And I think this weekend, particularly with this match with Zack Sabre Jr. coming out of nothing, thought he was going to be wrestling Starboy Charlie in an opening round match, match 2 on the card. Instead, gets this high-profile match with one of the best in the world and completely delivers on all fronts. Like, you now got to consider that he's like one of the top guys in the indie scene, just elevated overnight, and I hope we get to see more of that in the future, especially now with the follow-up angle the next night. Obviously, we talk about more of that later, but yeah, you just got to hand it to Fuego del Sol for delivering on such short notice. One of the best matches, an easy match of the year contender early on in this year.
Another WWE ID prospect for the fact that he can use a microphone. I think that he's got a good look. He can use a microphone. Again, maybe second or third round, but he's almost been doing this, I think, close to 10 years. I mean, he's a solid performer.
He's not resting on his laurels. Like, even when he's not on the card or has already had a match, like, he's going out and doing commentary when Dave Prazak's ill. Like, any chance he's taking, like, whether it's in the ring or on the commentary booth, like, it's good to see someone acting like they were fired and pissed off about it and channeling it in the right ways.
And Havoc just said he was tossed on ROH after his contract.
He just wrestled Blake Christian at Ring of Honor, but I think he's still freelancer for now. But that could easily change if he keeps doing stuff like this.
Yeah, I agree with you. He stepped up. Like, this was one of those, like, one match makes a star, and I agree with you. He's going to one match overnight just showed him how talented he really is and what AEW kind of fumbled there.
But hey, they may decide they want to do it again, and this is how you get those second chances.
Yep, and he's been knocking out of the park, and I agree. I think he's so valuable. What he could do with Ring of Honor, AEW, or anything. Like, I think Ring of Honor, I still would love to see more of the Blake Christians, Alec Prices, like those kind of high-level independents more than the kind of lower-level names that they're building up.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be something that's not AEW dark reskin, but
exactly.
These are the guys that make it. So,
unfortunately, yep. All right. Next matchup was for the GCW World Championship as Effie defended against Sydney Akeem.
I was curious to see how Sydney would react after his first loss in a GCW ring. Would he crumble under the loss or would he still be motivated? Easy answer. He still had that fire in his belly in this match. Effie was forced out of his comfort zone to pull out a rare moonsault and a super kick here. Very rare to see. Definitely worth looking at. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to correct myself. Effie got streamers. More streamers in GCW, please. I thought it would be cool to charge $2 a roll, color-coded by wrestler. However,
Yes.
Brett just had to pay $400 to clean the UCC floor.
I heard that. Yes.
Yeah, so what happened? And he said this on Patreon, so I'm sorry if I'm letting out.
Okay, yeah, I've not heard the. I saw it was posted today, but between having to work and go and preparing for this, I haven't had the chance to listen to it yet. So yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so what happened basically was the ink that's in the streamers matched with a little bit of liquid of any type on the floor actually can kind of stain the floor. So UCC called and said, hey, we got to get the floor clean. We're going to have to charge you for it. So I don't think we'll be seeing streamers at the UCC anytime soon. And I'm heartbroken because anybody who's listening to the show knows I'm a streamer fan.
Oh, what's funny about that is they didn't even hand a streamer to me, but I actually had one left over from Grap House last week. So I was still able to throw a streamer for Effie, but yeah, I mean, if you've been to a Grap House show, you know how messy those things can get. So I am not surprised that it caused an issue. And much as I love doing it, you know, I don't want to see our independent wrestling promotions having to pay a needless $400 expense. So if that's the price we got to do. But I will say this: shout out to the UCC for actually knowing how to throw those things, because you ever been to a Grap House show that you get the first timers? They don't know to have a little bit of a trail when you throw it, or how to throw it. So you
or how to throw. Period.
You always see someone just being a full streamer without it being unfolded, and it acts as like a rock.
Yep. There you go. That's a common problem for all venues. Several promotions I've worked with had to ban streamers because mixed with spilled beer stains floors.
Or they throw them at the wrong time. So it's like like last year at Grap House, there was one that got thrown during a Sandra Moon Brooke Havoc match, and you could see them like having to correct their footwork to not, eat shit and get paralyzed. So it's like it's not in. I can kind of see why a lot of promotions wouldn't want to bother with the both the risks and the cleanup.
Damn. I thought I had a good idea for $2 a roll. Like, if you like Effie, choose these
Ring
three.
of Honor, if you went to like old Ring of Honor shows before the buyout, like they charged money for those streamers if you didn't have them.
I'd have 3 colors per wrestler, $2 a piece, all 3 for $5. Out the door, dude.
Yeah,
I'd be selling
that's
those
literally what they used to do.
Hell yeah, man. That's a moneymaker. It's merch. I don't know. All right.
But yeah, I guess, it looks like we just enjoy it now while we had it.
So then Sydney also got a lot of love on the way out. I didn't want to go forward with Janela until I knew that both of you had what you needed to say.
Oh, I do want to shout out that Sydney evasion of the Effie baseball slide was insane. And I do love that Effie had to use the top rope variant of the Zack Ryder to get the win. If you're going to beat a guy on his second loss, you may as well do it with the super finish.
Yeah, I like how Effie had it.
I gotta wonder if maybe they would have been better off having him lose in the first round of the J Cup, so he's technically undefeated when they got here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
take the pin in the scramble.
Was Effie the first one to kick out of the final cut, or?
That's right. Yes, I don't think.
Yeah,
so he had to force
When I saw him do that, I was like, "Whoa!" Like. I
actually bought that because no one had kicked out of the final cut. I was like, wait, are we actually going to see the surprise title change that maybe I had hoped for?
That's what I thought too. Like, I was intrigued this match because Effie brought a different Effie out. He realized he had to, as you said, different variant Effie, go high flying to keep up with Sydney. And I love, like, this is what I want to see from Effie. Like, adapt your game, change your game up. Don't be the same one. And he's adapting his style, defending the championship to whoever he's wrestling it. And that's good because he's showing off a lot of different styles, and it's going to keep these matchups fresh. And I was into this match from that moment on because it looked like Effie like it seemed like right away, like like a football game, like whoa, why are they changing the game plan? What are they afraid of? And like it seemed like Effie was kind of scared for the high flying lucha kind of stuff coming at him. And I enjoyed the commentary making mention of it. And when the final cut hit, I was like, I kind of quickly processed in my head. I'm like, no, I think during the J Cup, maybe someone kicked out. So Effie's got to kick out. But that was a good match. And Sydney stepped up to the level. And like, I didn't expect it to be that into this match as I was, but I was emotionally attached for sure.
Let's see. I had a thought here. Give me a second. Man, while you were speaking, it hit me and then escaped me. Yeah, so we all know the feeling.
Dude, I usually write down my something on a piece of paper or something because I lose so many thoughts when we're talking. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but on this show, one thing that kind of sets us apart is we let everybody have like a full conversation and then we talk. So sometimes Brent will be talking about something and make an excellent point, and then I go to talk about it. I'm like, shit, what was I going to say? See, yep, Brent. I have
a notepad up on my other monitor, but I didn't type it in.
Yeah, man, that's been the most, like, you always have a great idea and you forget it. It sucks sometimes.
Yeah, you might as well move on, and then I'll just interject if I remember.
I'm about to say, when it pops up, just cut us off and get it out.
Yeah.
Done. All right, so after Effie's win, Janela then comes out, says Sabu skipped out again. I bid on that one. Joey looks like a deer in the headlights.
If I didn't already know Sabu was there for obvious reasons, I probably would have bid on it too.
Dude, I totally bid on it. I went, oh my God.
You spoiled it for me. I actually watched it late, and yeah, you spoiled that for me. Like when Joey was cutting that promo, I'm like, this motherfucker's lying.
But at the
like,
same time, just because he was there asking people for the plug, he was there when he did the Hall of Fame induction and just didn't come downstairs. So, it's still on the table.
Sabu's working the lines. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was an excellent angle to take with it. It's like, and funny thing is like, this is when I had to, use the bathroom and stop by Arez's table to make sure he still remembered that to me a trading card. So I was listening to the promo from the can, and then I got back, like I couldn't get it to my seat because Sabu was coming out. So I was like right in general admission. When he walked past me, I was like, okay, he means business. It's like I get to see him right in front of me.
Yeah, he looked really good. I know we didn't fully get to what happened, but he looked really good. But I bet so. I actually watched this late before on Saturday, but I saw your tweet on that Sabu plug, and then I saw the tweet of Brett with the cinema beforehand. I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? And then when they said Sabu didn't show up, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be some surprise now. I got super excited because you said he was there. I was like, wait a minute, Sabu's there. Never mind, something's gonna happen. Yeah. I actually thought it was gonna be RVD coming out. That's what I thought it was leading to. All because of your little tweet.
So yeah, Joey says that Sabu's dead. Sabu then comes out, starts beating on Joey. Sabu was using those chopsticks type things there, and he used them like he's never used them before.
It was like a railroad spike in execution. That's what I thought he actually had, was a railroad spike. But yeah, I could see that there were more than one of them, so I wasn't quite sure what it was actually used. But yeah.
And he was way back on it too, and I was worried about Joey's eyes because he was coming from far back, and you could see it was scraping across his forehead. I'm like, fuck, man. And there's one
to draw money, so he's laying it in.
Yeah, dude. And
this was old school, an old school angle.
But I was like,
Terry Funk and Ric Flair.
We had the crazy Sabu, the unpredictable, suicidal. When he was doing that, I'm like, oh shit, he's lost a little. He had a little snap in him, but that seemed later on interacting with the fans.
This is a man that's got something to prove now. He's heard all the jokes about him no showing and whatever. He means business now. Everything about this was classic, old school, NWA 1990, and of course, and how that goes right into early ECW. He was going he knows that this is the time to make money now.
Okay, so I will also say Sabu got a much better reception in LA than in New York, but at the same time, LA wasn't at hour 5.
Yeah.
So, but after a large pull apart, Joey said he'll see him at spring break. Okay, I'm confused. This is Joey, of course, so he's going to push the limits. But I mean, we're talking 4 to 6 months recovery, and he's on month 2 at that time.
Well, yeah, one thing I think is for sure, especially with the rumored stipulation they may be adding to this. Maybe there might not be ropes here, but not blood sport style. They're going to be replacing them with something else. They're going to use every trick in the book between a guy hasn't had the best of body and a guy that has one arm. Like they're going to be using every smoke and mirrors, everything. Like this is not your technical wrestling match. This is going to be a stunt show.
That's my worry.
Joey coming out and with the arm wrapped up around the bicep like Sabu.
Yeah, they have matching injuries.
That's why I'm like wondering with this bicep. I know it's like legit and everything, but I'm like, I wonder how far Joey's gonna take this. Is he gonna cut his arm up and make it look like how Sabu did?
Dude, I hope this just isn't he comes out to have the match because his ego says he wants to have the match, and then we have to watch him get the shit kicked out of him for 12 minutes in a corner just because he has to have the match.
After seeing this and how he looked and like what he was actually doing, I think it's going to be 10 minutes probably of craziness.
They're just going to pack everything they can in it until his arm falls off or because I mean, you're not getting 30 minutes out of Sabu. Like they're going to maximize their minutes. They're going to throw everything they can into whatever time they got with every sharp thing they can find. I imagine that the rumors of no rope barbed wire are going to be true, and that's how they're going to hide a lot of the obvious deficiencies they're going to be working with. And I'm sure it'll be balanced by a lot of other different stuff on the card. But yeah, like you can kind of see just by how this happened here what they're going to be doing.
A lot of bleeding is what I'm.
Thinking. A lot of blood. That's the number one trick. I'm sure Joey will probably have a protective cast that'll be cut away, but will still help with a lot of.
He'll hit him with the cast.
Yeah, he'll have the dirty cast barbed wire before. Probably I would imagine, or something glued to it, maybe Type A style.
I was just about to say, put it in some glass or something like that.
That's a great idea. That's what they pretty much did. They wrapped their hands up, glue, and boom, in the glass.
Yeah, like put it on the cast that he's definitely going to have. So
I'm right here with Reed though. This is where like I kind of get frustrated with some of the stuff in LA. And I wonder, like Ash, if he's still in here, if you can even go into it. Like the lights, how hard is it to turn? Like I know we kind of talked about it one time with Leo Rush of why they couldn't turn on and off the lights, but I remember now. We talked about it took too long to turn them back on. That's what it was. It takes too long for them to
like that's kind of a gimmicky thing. I think they're trying to push that Sabu's actually now really pissed at Joey for all the jokes. So it's not the gimmicky Sabu. Like he's just walking out because he's really that pissed. He's not calling for the lights because it's a mind game. Like no, he's just really pissed. He's not going to care if the lights are on. He's just going to walk to the ring because he means business this time.
Well, that's the other kicker. If the lights are off, he's probably still walking to the ring because he's in his 50s and yada, yada. So getting him in and out of the ring in less than 10, 15 seconds is sometimes not going to be the easiest.
Yeah, it's more impactful though, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have preferred to see like the lights off and then like Joey kind of scared and like
maybe they're saving that for the collective too. Like if you give everything away now, it's like I'm sure they'll be able to turn the lights off and in the palm.
Ash said the UCC lights are 4 different switches in 3 different locations and 1 with a remote. So it's basically a no-go.
I was like, I don't know. I wish it would. I think it could have added something, but yeah, we'll give it time.
Yeah, we got weeks away, and I'm sure Joey and this not being the last show that Joey and Sabu are on, even if it's going to be the most physical we get before then.
Yeah.
Well, hoping for the best. I'm just hoping this isn't a forced match because it seems like it's.
Nothing else. Old school guys like Sabu know how to work with limitations.
So that's the other thing I was going to say. We're going to see something kind of classic here where
it's not going to be like anything else we see this year at any other show. Like, even though I'm not going to be at spring break, it's definitely going to be something that you're not going to find this anywhere else.
Yeah.
Nope. And
No
I'm
one else
happy
is
I'm there for
capable
it.
of doing it.
I'm happy I'm there for it.
Yeah,
That's all that
like
matters.
the limitations are what's probably going to make this special, if anything.
And this
And
angle
who's going to do some
definitely-
run-ins? I'm sorry, B.
Oh,
No, I was just gonna say
you
this
mentioned.
angle's
I think
good
you
now.
answered that question earlier.
RVD.
Definitely a possibility.
Oh, just run in and do the chair shot thing where he
And I'm
runs.
sure, maybe the Cogers, like obviously whenever Joey gets back, the Cogers are going to be his first target. So, they may try to spoil this for Joey because they've taken everything else from him.
So would we be cheering Joey or would we be cheering Sabu?
Maybe like the
Fun.
Cogers come in, they team up for a second, take out the Cogers, and then go back to fighting.
I like the idea.
I mean, of course, we do see the Tremont Suzuki video package where they are working together. So maybe we can read in a little bit at that.
Love it. Love it all.
All right. The next match is a 6-person scramble, as it was Mr. Danger, Jack Cartwheel, Jay Vidal, Jimmy Lloyd, JKM, and Ray Horace.
Well, I have to say, I feel like both B and I especially have been along quite a bit on young JKM's GCW run. He was all over this weekend shows and an LA debut, by the way. Scramble Jimmy is back since losing his broski name. Welcome back, Vidal. Nicely featured in this match.
Yes,
But,
also someone that made his GCW name in a scramble, if you remember, Big Gay Brunch Chicago 2021. A lot of people would say that was his breakout moment in wrestling in general, between that and I believe another scramble he had that summer at No Peace Underground. So
Was that the one he
definitely some
flew out of
history
the
there.
ceiling, off the roof?
Yeah, so when he dove off I guess
whatever
whatever
that was,
constitutes
yeah.
the roof at the Grand Sports Arena. Yeah, he did that big dive and then won the match and started seeing a lot more of Jay Vidal in the greater independent scene and later in TNA after that match.
Yep. It was like, right away, too. Yeah, I thought this match was good. It was a scramble match to get everybody in there, and it was kind of cool to kind of get the focus back in the ring and in-ring action after seeing that cool spot. But that's the spots, like, those are cool, like what Joey and Sabu did. Like, I want to see more of those kind of storytelling. So I enjoyed that. But to get the action back in, or focus back on the action in the ring, this was good. Yeah, JKM and Mr. Danger. Danger's insane. LA is definitely Mr. Danger's territory.
Yeah, like he had I think his breakout moment was a scramble in the UCC about a year ago, was it not, with the big ladder?
Yeah,
That's
collective
right.
weekend.
So yeah, a lot of people in this match can trace their breakouts to scrambles. So yeah, just like, and of course, JKM, I believe he is based in Vegas, so we might be seeing a lot of him in a month's time.
I'm about to say I've seen him a little bit pop up more on some Vegas shows.
Yeah, the next night he was at FSW in another scramble. So
that's one of Gino's people.
Yeah, I believe he is pretty tight with with Gypsy Mac and Dante King, who also came up big in title matches at FSW the next night. So definitely 3 people that we will be seeing a ton here, probably, if not at the collective, in other places in Vegas with all these 100+ events.
Yeah, man. He came in and his first match, I remember his first match was, I think, it was either Phoenix or Albuquerque. Yeah, Albuquerque with Gino. And they were talking about how this is student and teacher. And we came on the next night, and me and Brant came on the next Tuesday, and we were like, he's good enough. And if we're looking for young, hungry talent, JKM was one of them. And
I will say this, having seen him live a few times, it's like he's a hit at the merch table. That mask, everyone calls him Spider-Man, but
exactly.
Yeah, like his look is perfect, and like definitely someone that's got a bright future. Could definitely see in a lot more scrambles and hopefully work his way up to the some of these big singles matches. Would love to see him have a mask encounter with Fuego del Sol, with Fuego acting as a veteran to the younger JKM. That's a match that could definitely be viable in the future.
And our winner here was Mr. Danger with a 450 splash. I felt like I didn't see enough of him, but I'll tell you what, like everyone else, I'm a big fan. I want to see him show out more.
And I will say
Yeah,
this,
I agree.
I did have a fun interaction with Jay Vidal while the cameras were off and he was powdering. It's like he noticed me and was like, hey, I'm going to hang out with you for a bit while I lay on the floor. Because
We like
obviously
to-
we've known each other for a while, and it's like, just
It's nice seeing him back in this.
yeah,
back
nice seeing
more
him in
active.
GCW. Hopefully, we get to see him more in the future. I know he's actually based right now in Florida, so we don't get to see him much of him as we would like. But we do get to see quite of him bit at FSW, and he will definitely have a few bookings next month as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good. Like I said, they really dropped the ball with him at TNA.
Yeah,
And
I can't
that's
believe
really
they
sad.
didn't even use him really in the X division when that division is right for him to succeed.
Anybody who's actually done any work looking at his tape would know he would have done great in the X division.
Yeah, like I can't believe like he wasn't in an Ultimate X match when they were teasing that they were bringing it back for a few times.
All right, our next matchup was for the GCW World Championship, as it was Masha Slamovich versus Super Crazy.
I don't have any notes here hardly at all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna hand this over to you two. I don't
mind this match. Finally, I don't mind this title defense. At least here for me,
thank you.
At least Super Crazy had some name value here, where I actually was like, thank goodness Masha's like, this is one of her most important title defenses, even though we kind of know what's going to happen again. But I wanted to see her kind of go against a legend and a lucha legend and an ECW legend, because I think she's at that point where me and Screw were talking earlier. Like, I don't want to see her against the Jordan Cruzes. I want to see her against these legends, these big names and stuff like that. So
I want to see both of those ends of the spectrum. Actually, I will say this. Something to note here is this was not the original plan for this card, if you've noticed. Super Crazy was initially supposed to face Joey in a rematch from Black Label Pro in Vegas a few years ago. But, Joey's injury kind of resulted in some card changes here.
And I was happy for this one, this card change at least.
But yeah, this was good fun. Yeah. Definitely love to see these styles clashes. And again, like, we're not going to have Masha for forever, so let's get her in all these crazy matches while we got her.
Yeah, definitely get crazy in the next night.
Hey, that man moonsaulted off a balcony last month. Like, the fact that he even did that at all, like, he's willing to turn back the clock here, and I felt like he gave Masha a great match.
Oh yeah, the Super Crazy looks his good. Like I'm getting mad at these was it You Still Got a Chance, because he never really even stopped or lost. He's been still going, and he's looked still in really good shape since he's been back too.
And the fact that he's got that ECW background means whatever he has kind of not been able to do in the high flying, he can pick up with the hardcore. It's just such a natural fit. Yep. And again, like I talked about, he's a nice, humble dude at the merch table. Like, pretty good guy. It's like, you love seeing guys like him get the Twilight run.
And he seems like he's enjoying his time too. Like he enjoys the roster. The roster's then the crowd too. Like it's different than, well, I guess not too different. We've seen about the similar. All right. Our next matchup was for the GCW Tag Team Championships, as the Garbage Daddy defends the belts against Violence is Forever in a rematch from Hammerstein.
This was a much anticipated rematch. They've fought many times against each other, and I expected a good match here. The Daddy's got streamers, a hot start with Price diving onto Ku and Garini on the outside. The Daddies have done
sick with them going through the streamers.
Oh, well, it made it even more unexpected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like they got literally blindsided right in front of them because they couldn't see it. And I mean, I was on the opposite side of when it happened, but it still looked pretty cool. Like they were coming through the streamers to get at him.
Like breaking through a present.
Boom. Yeah, exactly. Or maybe like the Kool-Aid Man.
Ooh, that's my dude right there. He's kept me happy for years, man. I just lost my Kool-Aid. Actually, this is a Kool-Aid smile right here. Yeah, this is. Do you guys know what a Kool-Aid smile is? Come on now.
I'm guessing when you get the dye still on your mustache.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a shitty joke.
I had to make sure I wasn't missing something there.
Well, you know,
No.
Yeah.
It was just a shitty joke. Daddies have done a ton of work on making their team moves, and they have quite a few for the age of their team. Guarini pile drives Perch to huge boos. That's when everything kind of
That
changed.
was smooth as fuck, at least. I hated the finish otherwise. Like, I don't know why we're doing a schmoz at this stage of the game in their feud, but at least it was a fucking cool move to get it going.
I actually agree with you, and that was my only other thing, was they fought to the back on different sides. We go to a video package. What the hell? Winner here, no contest. What an awkward... It was different. We'll say that. It was a different ending than we're used to.
Like, they've seen him fought so much. Like, I'm kind of willing to... I kind of want to see him do other things instead of building towards another match and kind of feeling like my time was a little wasted on just doing a schmoz here. This made sense a year ago. It didn't make sense now.
I didn't mind this. Like, it felt like it was like, hey, the contractual rematch for losing the belts, and like this is where they get it. And like, I was excited because Violence is Forever looked good. Like, I was kind of worried how they would look after losing the titles and how much like we would see from them since after losing the titles in GCW, but they looked motivated and like energized and focused to get those belts back. And the crowd like loved, like that was a loud Zombie song. Like they were very, very loud. How was it in live?
It was pretty good, but I mean, I was here when I was at some of the shows where they started that like their initial run at GCW, and I kind of wish Emma would actually get out the intro sooner, because if you let the fans belt out the entire chorus, they will do it. Now we only get the ending part. So it's like, I've heard better, but at the same time, like, it's still a cool moment. It's still a cool entrance. Almost too cool for heels to be having it. So
I was about to say it came out good this time in LA. Like they were loud, but like it energized. Yeah, and I for me it just feels like, oh, Violence Forever like is legit. They're gonna get their belt back, and the match was good. Like I love seeing them wrestle, but I'm the same thing as you guys. Like I'm fatigued of seeing these.
Yeah, they had such a long run with the belts that, you know, they can find other things for them to do, but at the same time, I want them to do other things in GCW because they're freaking tremendous. Also, shout out, Saturday was Dominic Guarini's birthday.
Oh, nice. I was kind of hoping that we get like a finalization of this match of like, hey, finally a clean victory, and hey, we're done. We both need to move on. You need to earn your way back here, kind of thing. And yeah, that finish kind of scares me for the future because I don't want to see them go back to this right now either.
Yeah, maybe if we had like something like similar to the Punjabi prison lined up for this year, where you get a few more teams in there and you know, maybe use that spin off to other programs. I think that would be probably the best thing for it. As much as I love Garbage Daddies, as much as I love Violence is Forever, if we're going to do another match, it needs to be something like a cage match, or a, you know, something that we can, you know, do something different with them and, you know, put a bow on the feud.
So I'm thinking it's got to be a match of like no referee involvement, because that was kind of like the whole thing going into the referee was always missing everything from Violence is Forever. And then now with Perch getting pile drived and referees having to come out and separate it, I think it's
and all the fan finishes we've had in the feud, something like a ladder match might make a lot of sense.
I was thinking, yeah, maybe something like that, or 2 out of 3 falls, or maybe let's get like
2 out of 3 falls is very referee heavily involved.
I guess I shouldn't have said 2 out of 3 falls. I guess I should have said like I was thinking 2 or 3 falls.
I was almost wondering maybe if the finish that we thought would happen at Hammerstein might actually come into play, where the brass ring finally gets used, because we only have about a month and a half left on that. And
I was gonna bring that up when we were talking about Bane. Yeah, I was gonna say when we don't forget about the Cole Radjic over there when we're talking about Bane as well.
It's like, yeah, maybe if a title defense goes wrong, like he can write it instantly, and it's like that's what we thought would happen at Hammerstein, but you know, we've only got so much time left. And the other thing is, there's been talk about the Garbage Daddies breakup, but realistically, the tag division needs them more than the singles division needs them as singles guys.
I agree. And I think with these tag teams, get the Desperado, So Violence is Forever, get Kerry Morton and Griffin McCoy. I think there's tag teams out there to kind of.
Yeah, Bollywood Boys again. Pretty much
Exactly, yep.
every team that we saw this weekend. Even Fuego Stackhouse.
Yeah.
Maybe even I don't know if this is what we should be using the Cogers for at this time is a multi-man tag feud. But if we wanted to get the titles on them as a means to an end, like we could see them and get involved in the tag scene.
The Cogers?
Yeah.
I think that's where this is leading into. I think they're going to hold Stackhouse and Fuego over Cole and Alex Head. I would like, and that's where I kind of would like to see it, of them just kind of demolishing everybody to kind of like, and hold, like literally beating everyone up to hold the title over their head kind of thing.
It's kind of weird because I think we all thought Atticus would be in like the singles division, but maybe one of the reasons he's come back is to get some shine on his brother. And I think that would make a lot of sense.
I was just about to say right now too, Otis is looking really good right now. He's looking like a monster. He looks impressive. He looks like the protective, I don't want to say big brother, but obviously protective big brother. I'm getting more out of Otis in this run than I am Atticus. And I'm
kind of the fun dynamic
Otis
here is the older brother is actually the lesser of the two as far as like star power goes. So that kind of leads to an interesting dynamic you don't generally see in these brother teams.
Yeah, that too. All right.
I just like all of it. I'll just say that right now. I like all of it. And as soon as Los Macizos come back, I need Kogar Brothers versus Los Macizos in a bloodbath.
At the same time, though, I do want to see them have their singles feud first.
I want to see the blow off still, yeah.
Reunion, because they're another team that kind of did everything there is to do in GCW. So I kind of want to see them as singles before we go back to the tag run. But eventually, what is old is new again.
Oh, okay. You have me confused there, Reed. All right, we'll go into the main event of Coldest Winter 3, as it was Mance Warner versus Ciclope.
I thought I was seeing history repeat itself. There was a spot where Mance Warner was in the ring. He gets hit with something in the side of the head, and Razor Ramon style, he just slicks the hair.
It was a streamer that wasn't opened, so it was someone tossing it like a rock.
And that's exactly what happened when Razor Ramon got hit with the drink. He was like, slicks back the hair.
I don't know if that person did it intentionally, if they just never thrown a streamer before, but yeah, no. It was definitely not how a streamer should be thrown.
No. But this was a variety match. We had Mance beating up Ciclope while wearing his cowl jacket. Ciclope bleeding out.
Not the first time they've done jacket spots either.
No.
These two.
Beer buckets on heads in a bullfight. Ciclope getting his ears pierced. Mance getting into it with a fan.
Before we move on for the jacket spot, I got to point out some of the crowd was chanting "fuck Moo."
Fuck Moo.
Fuck Moo. Fuck Moo.
Oh my! If they do that on the East Coast, that's going to go over like wildfire. Mance was getting into it with a fan in second row, and a guy in first row was mad that he was getting spit on.
Yes, that was on my side. I remember that very well.
He was pretty pissed off that he was getting spit on too.
Yeah, okay, that's like one of my pet peeves. Like you can do a lot of things, but I think spitting's gross, and I don't think it should be done. I don't think wrestlers should be spitting on fans to get heat. I don't think fans should be spitting on wrestlers. Like, leave the bodily fluids out of it.
I'm in. I get that. I get that immediately. That's gross.
Like, I've seen it locally a few times here. And it doesn't go over well. Like, find other ways to get heat and find other ways to antagonize the wrestlers that don't involve contact or bodily fluids. There's other ways to do this.
Yeah. The final spot. Mance was on the door bridge. Ciclope jumps off the ladder, and Mance rolls off the door. Now, as he rolls off the door slides off the chairs. And the door is basically standing up and down. Ciclope lands on it.
Yeah, it's basically a lever and a fulcrum if you've ever been in grade school science class.
And if you saw it from the right angle, the minute he hits that door, when he rolls over on his head. So
either way, everyone in the UCC knew this was fucked up the moment they saw it. The air was taken out of the room immediately.
It's all fun and games until some shit like that goes down, and then all of us get real serious real quick.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know how quick they went off the air. I'm sure you'll tell me in a second. Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised because everyone thought we might be looking at another serious injury. Thankfully, that was not the case. But yeah, it took they took their time getting him out of the ring.
Yeah. And then I think it was you, Screwball, that said he was at the merch table
Yes,
later
he
that night.
eventually made it to the merch table. I don't know how. And I even heard on commentary the next day Jordan Castle telling him how he was his responsibility, and the only thing he asked for was 2 ibuprofen. That man's a fucking insane man.
He's physically gifted them too. If he can take something like that and be cool with it with just 2
Yeah, I thought
ibuprofen.
for sure like we were finding another opponent for Redacted tomorrow and possibly looking at another 4 to 6 month absence. And here he is selling gimmicks at the merch table.
I had that same conversation. I was like, is that Dr. Redacted match gonna happen now after that one? Yeah, that was how I grabbed my head. I'm like, oh, like when Ciclope fell, like got knocked out during the Art of War Games match. Like it was like one of those ones. I'm like, Jesus, this guy can't buy a break from heights, but he just keeps going up there. And I love the main event. I've loved everything about Mance's title run. This felt like the main event during his title run. It was everything that the UCC wanted, the blood, the violence, and yeah, I thought that was a good way to end the night. And that bump was kind of crazy. And I love how Mance is kind of taking credit for it as how he got up and flipped it up on purpose. I think
Yeah, I
that's
mean, it definitely was an
super dickish
accident,
move
but
too.
if you're a scumbag heel, you take that credit if it isn't a case of gross
Perfect.
negligence. And I think it was just something that happened. So why not? Especially if Ciclope is okay.
Yeah, it was it was smart work on Mance there to take credit for it.
And we definitely got to talk, even though like we're hitting the major point now, like the bucket spots.
Yes.
I thought that was freaking fantastic. I got a bunch of great screen captures because of
Yeah,
that.
it's like that's the stuff you can't script. Like you don't know if there's gonna be buckets there or not, and it's like one of them was taken off, everyone's favorite fan in the front row, and the other one was provided by someone nearby, and it's like, why not use that? Like, why not have a bucket duel?
Yeah, I thought I liked it too. All right.
We did it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Anything
and
else?
before we go any further here, I got to point out like there's a lot of talent that's running like cleaning up the ring. A lot of talent that's running security here. Like they could have had a bonus scramble with some of the names that I see in the crowd at the UCC tonight. People like the ever talented Chris Nasty, who needs to be on one of these UCC shows sooner rather than later. Like that is a guy waiting to break out. Also saw his partner Jin Savani, one of his tag partners Wicked Wicket. Honest John was there. Jordan Cruz was there. I saw Dom Kubrick. I saw the team of Live Danger, Danger Ross, and Live Riot Charlie. They were doing a lot of the cleanup in between matches. Like that would already there would be a bonus scramble that would kick off the crowd like crazy, and definitely names I want to see on more hopefully on GCW shows and in the UCC or in San Diego sooner rather than later.
Agree. We're always looking for fresh young talent that are hungry. There's a whole group of them right there.
Yeah, that was that was a who's who there.
Well, Screwball, you said you were hanging with us for San Diego and LA, right?
Yeah, like a lot of the Phoenix show was kind of background noise to me. I obviously got paid attention to a lot of it, but I always kind of get like too wired on doing these, so I need to to decompress a bit. I'll be listening in, probably be in the chat under my YouTube name of Great 110 that I'm too lazy to change. But in case anyone's wondering, that is me in the YouTube chat. So I'll hop off shortly.
Hey, seriously, thank you for
thank
an
you.
awesome evening with us. Every time you come on, I'm happy we have another intelligent wrestling fan that's able to sit down and just give their opinions. And thank you so much for coming in here and just sharing everything, because you're always an awesome addition, dude.
Dropping that West Coast knowledge.
Yep, I can always drop the knowledge of some of these talents that hopefully we'll be seeing soon, and some of the ones that are just getting established now. People like Zara Zacher, just the talents that because a lot of before they make it here, they're on the Vegas scene grinding and making the most of their opportunities here before they get on these shows.
Well, I'll just brag 100% like we always do. we picked a great West Coast correspondent who really knows the West Coast. We picked a fantastic East Coast correspondent who knows the East Coast. So, God, I'm proud to have you on the team.
Yeah, isn't Frank coming to Mania? Or
What's that again?
isn't Frank coming to Mania weekend?
don't think so.
I'm not sure. I think what happened was a lot of his crew unfortunately fell through.
Okay,
And-
yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? And that's actually happened to a couple of people. They've contacted me going, hey, do you know some people who are coming out? Because maybe, there's a GCW fan that wants to share with me kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. I think part of it is just, money.
Yeah.
You have tax season and
yeah,
it's expensive.
And price of everything's going through the roof. I mean, you can pay $10 for one egg nowadays.
And no one's getting fucking
There's a surcharge at the Waffle House now on eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't blame anyone that has to cut back because some things are more important than wrestling.
And that's respectful, and that's respectable. Absolutely, we've all been there. Yep. Some of us are still working our way out. So, yeah, man, appreciate you so much for coming in. Yeah, so everybody knows who Great One is now. Yeah, that's Screwball. That's our West Coast dude.
I mean, I have used the term interchangeably on both accounts, the West Coast correspondent. So anyone that really wanted to know would find out. But yeah, it was really great to be back in the field. I will be back in the field next month for Mania weekend. And hopefully we get more GCW shows in Sin City that aren't just tied to these big weekends sooner rather than later. Because I know every time we go out to the UCC, there's got to be other shows to justify the trip. So hopefully we can get on that Arizona, that Mesa, LA, Vegas route, or maybe San Diego, LA, Vegas. Either way, would love to get more chances to go on the field.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers freaking crossed. Rock and roll.
All right, I'm logging off.
All right, man. Thank you again, Screwball.
Next month.
Hey, we appreciate you a lot, man. You're awesome. Really.
Thank you. You guys are doing great too. Congratulations on a year.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We're amateurs. You know what I mean? No shit. Like I always try to say that. We're just amateurs, man.
What are you talking about? We're professional. We start on time.
We're
no tech issues.
Hey, I will say this: Game Changer Weekly is the pro glow up from the GCW Plant podcast. Like I always thought that name was kind of an outdated joke to something that nobody remembers from one AC weekend in 2021. Now you guys are looking legit the part.
Yes.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you for being part of it too. We really are happy that you're part of it, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a good night, man.
You too.
Thank you. Oh, I see professional here.
And we look at that professionalism at its finest.
Got it.
Hey, man, like I said, we're fans. Dude,
Yeah.
we're doing our best, and I think we try our best, and we're really thankful that everyone does come around
and we got good help out on the
there.
East Coast, West Coast. We got help all over the place. Yeah, fantastic.
Fucking in chat, our chat is probably one of the most knowledgeable chats you're gonna get when it comes to pro wrestling, especially independent.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we just have to learn stuff from the chat alone.
Well, I've got good news, everyone. We still have one show to go here.
I was about ready to say long live GCW.
Fuck that. Well, I'm amped. I'm ready to go. I'm tired as shit, but I got a great attitude.
Oh, yes. All right. I guess I'll wake up for this one. All right. Our last show of the weekend, Sunday night, GCW's Just Being Honest from the Nile Theater in Phoenix, Arizona. How's it going, Drew?
You said what's up, Drew. This is part of my crew. I got family over here that's just leaving. They were hanging around, so he was coming up to say goodbye. They actually got me like one of them $5 meal deals at McDonald's. So once we're done here, Fat Boy's gonna eat.
Nice. So yeah, Nile Theater. I was glad to be back there now as happy as Screwball was to be back at UCC. I was kind of as happy to be not at the UCC and to go to Arizona this time. And what a show it was.
Yeah, you had a long day. Do you want to tell everybody when it started and when it ended?
I got up at 8:30ish, left the house probably like around 9:30ish, and then I got home like at 2:30 in the morning. I went to the show to Phoenix, got in there like around 3, got something to eat, went to the show, and then after the show got something to eat after the show, and drove back home that same night like a crazy man. But it was actually good. I wasn't as tired as I thought I would be. I thought I'd be like dying. I was actually good. I was riding the high from the show. The show was amazing. It was awesome, and yeah, it was a very exciting trip, and I think they need to do Phoenix not on a damn Sunday. That's for sure.
You know, it's funny. That's not the first time I've heard that from people. There's a lot of people they'd love to do it.
If it was on Saturdays or Saturday's like the perfect day. Like Friday night, I don't think I would make it in time for the show by the time I left work. But if it was Saturday, it'd be perfect.
You'll just have to be sick on Friday.
Yeah, I'm running out of sick days there too. Just put in for the collectors today.
So you went ahead and announced the show. So I'll go ahead and start here. Fans were pounding the ring. Nile fans, to me, I feel like they do it right. Pound for pound, I'd put them up against most any other East Coast crowd. I really do say this again. The West Coast loves their GCW. Emil and Castle are messing with each other all night. Really fun, doing a great job. You can tell when they start to get comfortable with each other because the play between them kind of go up a little bit. They're smart. They're fun. They're building rapport every show. We also had Ethan Lawmaster jump on at one point also, and I can say the same thing. He was fun and enjoyable to listen to. When they're bad, you notice it. When they're good, you don't notice it. Well, I can tell you here, I was halfway through and I go, well, who's that voice? And I'm like, he's pretty good. So, yeah, man, congratulations on making it on the show and being able to put commentary down just a little bit. I think you did a good job.
Yeah, as you said, I heard a new voice, but like it wasn't like because it was bad. I was just like, hey, like who is this talking? Because they like actually fit right in. It was pretty good. Ethan did a good job. You took away that note. There was something one of your notes I had there. Can you
let me look here?
Sorry,
I'll back it up. There you go.
So the crowd, man. It's not even the crowd. The talent. Emil, seeing how much he loved Arizona, like to get the crowd hyped before, to come up to the apron to smack it. The talent I talked to were super excited to be back in Arizona. Like they love the energy that the crowd in Arizona brings, and the Arizona crowd once again was treated to a great show and brought the energy from match 1 to the end of the night. Like as you were kind of saying, that first in San Diego kind of felt like it was just going and going, like the matches were going. I felt like this whole weekend there was no like slow down pace. It was always just like nonstop moving. I didn't feel like there was any lull in any of these 3 days. So Phoenix is the different crowd, and the crowd, the talent definitely stepped up for night 3 of this loop for sure.
Hell yeah.
Our first matchup was the Masha Slamovich defending the JCW championship against Rob Shit.
Rob Shit had a busy weekend, man. Yeah, he was laughing that Masha was his opponent. Now, if anyone noticed the match was super crazy, that's the second opponent in a row that was laughing that they had to face Masha. Rob's smile didn't last long, though. Masha tore into him early. There was a lot of fighting in the crowd. Jordan Castle kept calling Rob the shit man. Rob was a good-sized opponent for Masha to beat on, I had to say here. This is a 12-minute match. I think it went very well. Our winner was Masha with an avalanche White Knight driver. What were your thoughts on this one?
The action was insane to start off the night, man. I was like, they're really pulling out those tables. The chairs were just destroyed after match 1. I was like, the Nile is never going to recover from GCW. Like, this was match 1 and all that crazy action. And the table spot to the outside was nuts. Masha against Rob Shit was another one of these ones. I'm like, why? But I understand. Injuries happen. You got to make it up. So I didn't even care. And I was just like, Rob Shit out of all the people is going to get a JCW title shot, but I was excited just to see what kind of craziness Rob Shit and Masha would do. And yeah, I'm taking any preconceived notion that I had on this JCW title being a pure wrestling title. It is madness. It's just as crazy as any other title in GCW. And yeah, Rob Shit, I think, did a really good job to play the heel in this one, take a lot of crazy spots and make Masha look good. But he also did some offense on Masha where I was always like, whenever I see this kind of like Masha being the TNA women's knockouts champion, I think she still is. And her wrestling against somebody named Rob Shit, and then like kind of like the style that Rob Shit does. Like I always wonder, what does Impact think of like shows like in matches like this? And that's part of the business I always want to kind of find out. But I didn't mind it. The action lived up more than it did on paper, that's for sure. And I enjoyed this title defense from Masha and got the crowd hot right away. Match 1.
So I'll stop right here before we go into match 2. Reed Harris Cooper has an interesting question, but I didn't want to get too much into it because we don't really talk about interactions or anything. But Dr. Redacted did mention this on the show. So the question then, you don't even have to give much detail, but did Waffle Redacted happen?
Yes, Waffle Redacted did happen.
There you go. There you go, Reed. We found out. All
and
right. Sorry.
And a new sitcom was born at the Waffle House. A new TV sitcom. I love it. Cheers. Next matchup is Brooke Havoc versus Sandra Moon.
You know, I'm finally going to be nice to Sandra Moon, and poor Screwball's not here to hear it. I put after a rough weekend for both women, this match was their redemption. Emma was talking about Moon getting on regular rotation. No. I've watched her wrestles for years. Our winner here was Brooke Havoc.
What do you think? You're being nice. What are you doing?
I realized what I had there. It's just, I feel like it's been a while that they've tried to put Sandra on our main card or on our main rotation, and it's just not, it's hit or miss, I think, with her sometimes, and some of it's a little I think she was better 3 years ago when we first had seen her at GCW. Yep,
that's where I was going to go. Yeah. I was going to go there. Yeah. I think she had like the chance back then where she had the chance with GCW, with Impact, and she was getting a lot of opportunities. And I'm kind of glad to see like Brooke Havoc step up. I want to see Zara Zacher step up and like become one, not even step up, but get the opportunity to do what kind of Brooke did and showcase what's kind of out there and what she could do with GCW. Because I think like I feel like they've kind of grabbed that. So that's another one. Yeah, I feel like they've grabbed that chance and that opportunity and have ran with it, where Sandra had that opportunity, in my opinion, back then and didn't make anything of it, where now Brooke has. And I'm glad to see Sandra back in the mix. And I think this weekend was a better weekend than we saw last time that we saw her. Last time we saw her, it was not the Sandra Moon that we've kind of seen in the local scene around here. And I was happy too that I thought Brooke is always kind of just putting on good shows, and just I think she's trying out a bunch of different things to find out what works for her, what doesn't, what works for this crowd and this kind of matchup. I think she's really using this opportunity at GCW to grow as a performer, and each time we're seeing something different from her. At least I am, from moveset or attitude wise, or even how she just displays her character. It's been something different, and I'm glad that she's using that opportunity to grow and get better. And Sandra Moon did a good job in this match, and I thought this was a good match for both of them.
I agree with you there. I'm not going to say anything more. Sorry, that's a local, man. Let's stop trying to push a local. It's been like 3-4 fucking years, guys. Just move on. I've never hardly ever seen a wrestler devolve unless they age, and she's not aged.
I mean, I guess we all have aged.
And I know, well, we've all. And again, it's not personal. It's just I'm watching the work for the work, and I'm watching someone who was a lot better 3 years ago at GCW. And
I just don't think I've seen as much improvement in that time and compared to the short amount of time we've seen Brooke, and as much improvement we continually to see from her.
Well, we won't get too far into that, but that's what separates a local from a regional, from a national, from an international. And anyone can go to Japan if you can afford the fucking ticket. So, Japan's just not the same. It's just not, it lost its mystique when the internet hit, but we won't get too far into that. But yeah, no, locals. Locals. I'm so sorry, great one. But she was impressive years ago. Now it's just not, it's half-assed.
Next matchup was a 6-person tag match, as it was Los Desperados, Jack Cartwheel, Gringo Loco, and Arez going against Los Microman, Abismo Negro Jr., and Rey Horus.
Los Microman got a crazy reception. Looking at all their sizes from small, medium, and large, Jordan Castle said they look like a Pokemon evolution. Gringo kicks Microman before the match starts. Desperados are officially the bad guys here. Did you didn't hear that part, did you?
I missed that part of commentary. The one part of commentary that stuck out in this match was Jordan Castle saying Microman F's. That was it for me. Microman F's was the commentary line of the night.
Also, if you go back and look, I swear for some reason Gringo and Abismo look like they're related, like twins. They're both like in the same kind of color gear and everything. I don't know, maybe it's body shape something, but
I like the evolution. That was good.
Yeah. I put here that there was a ton of athleticism, but this was also very fun. Gringo fights Microman on his knees. I would have also found that funnier if Microman dropped to his knees to fight him. I'm still waiting for that alpha move to hit. Then we had a little hip gyration from Gringo and Micro. I say this all the time. Micro is way over. I have an idea that I'm still waiting to see. I still would like to see Micro Wrestling come over to GCW and maybe do a match or do some type of a scramble or something and let Micro Man just knock it out of the park as our little guy. We've had all kinds of other companies. I thought it would be cool. So that's the other question, Reed. I'm not 100% if he can, because I know sometimes like smaller people, they have issues with their knees bending. So I'm not 100% sure. But if he could, I think that would be something really, really cool to see, because that would have been like, oh, you want to get on that level? Let's fight on our knees then.
I'm right here with Havoc, and that spot of Microman mocking Gringo's dance, mocking the cartwheel, and then about to mock Arez, and Arez just coming out of view and fucking leveling Microman.
Oh,
that spot of the year for me. That is the spot of the year. I was in tears. I was crying in the back with Drew Parker at the merch table. Oh, like that was too much, man. That was. This was, I agree with you, Havoc, my match of the weekend, the most enjoyable match I've seen all year. I was having the time of my life in this match. And as you said, I think that because his Microman is super. Him, Fuego, and Stackhouse are the three most over people in Arizona for GCW on the 3 trips that we've been there. And the crowd, Welcome to the Jungle came out. The crowd erupted when Microman came out. Like, when he did the cartwheel, the crowd popped. When he did the Gringo Loco dance, Microman just has the timing down. He's over as Rover, and that was just, I love that match. That spot, though, spot of the fucking year, dude. I was in tears. Like as it happened, and he tagged in Arez, and Arez cussed at him in Spanish. I'm like, please, I hope Arez kicks the living shit out of him. And I didn't expect it to be like that, though. It came out so much better on watching it back on Triller, because he just comes out of nowhere as Microman's getting hyped up. And bravo, Gringo's facial reactions to Microman from the moment Microman came out. Gringo's facial reactions was so pissed off at him. Gringo was amazing. This match was, my favorite match of the weekend. This was entertaining. It had great in-ring action, but it got the crowd into it and happy, and they're awesome. Those Desperados as heels, as faces, could do either way, and this was my favorite match of the weekend.
And Lucha never disappoints.
Yep, that too.
So I didn't catch the names, but we had our 3rd engagement in the ring at GCW. Congratulations to the happy couple. Grooms are now 3-0 in the ring at GCW and undefeated. So let's see how long that string goes. I really don't want to see one go wrong. I swear to God, I don't want to see. That would fuck up the whole show. I don't even know how the crowd would react.
I was about to say, I wonder how they would react on, like, Jonathan, what would you do if they said no real fast? What are you going to cut to?
He's going to cut to a video. Yeah, let's cut to the next video, please.
Oh, my goodness.
Big old tears, crying stains in the ring. Yeah, that was it for that. I'm sorry. I had to mention it, though. But yeah, congratulations. You've ball and chain time, buddy. Good luck.
Tag partner for life.
Tag partner. Hey, that's cool. And if you got a girl that does wrestling, let me tell you, man, it's awesome. It really is awesome, because it becomes a family thing.
Good.
Schedule events, make Jordan Castles.
Where's Jordan at? Jordan, what would you say there to get out of the viewer?
I don't know if Castle's in here tonight. Usually he listens in today, I think.
Yeah, I think
sure.
I heard something about Japan there.
Yeah, but Ash, there was a couple good angles throughout the night that we just thought were hilarious, and that was one of them. Just him getting drop kicked across the fucking ring.
The video and Perch's reaction to the back, like, oh, like, what are you doing? Oh my god, that I rewound that spot obviously 100 times this weekend. That was fucking hysterical. All right. Next matchup is Jordan Cruz versus Jimmy Lloyd.
I'll keep this short because the match was short. This was at 5:02, just a quick 5-minute match. I put in here, give them credit for packing a lot of wrestling and selling the struggle into those 5 minutes. I don't have much to report. I'm sorry. This is the second match of the night that it was 5 minutes. There wasn't a lot to talk about. So I'll go ahead and just give you the winner. Our winner in this one was Jimmy Lloyd. Like I said, it was a 5-minute short match. B, do you have anything on this one that struck you?
I was happy Jordan got some in-ring time, and after the match in San Diego, and as much as he works on West Coast, I was kind of disappointed he wasn't really on the LA show either. But it was nice to see him on this one, and yeah, against Jimmy. Nice to see Jimmy back in the fold. It's nice to hear Jimmy Lloyd's music. I hear Jimmy Lloyd's music, and just seeing Jimmy fucking Lloyd is a good feeling. And yeah, it was short, and I didn't really have much other than it was just nice to see him actually kind of get an opportunity.
Buka Man made that song. And Reed Harris Cooper said Jordan got signed to Stardom. He's too big for us now.
I don't think he got signed. I'm not saying it. I heard. Yeah, never mind. I shouldn't say.
Also, Clown. Yeah, my wife said the greatest thing to me this weekend. I'm really getting into GCW. Saturday, she kept running into the room to watch. It's over. Get her to a live show. Get her to a live show. She'll be buying Effie gear in no time. Not gonna lie.
You just get tackled one time in the front row and you're locked in.
Oh yeah. Get put on your ass one time by Redacted, and you'll be like, all right.
Yeah, that's true too. Next match was a tag team match. It was Atticus and Otis, the Coger brothers, going against House of Fire, Fuego del Sol, and Sam Stackhouse.
Atticus was playing mind games with Fuego, slowly undoing his laces on his mask. The fans did not like that at all. Great job, Atticus. House of Fire, we're getting some team moves, something I'm seeing. Great chemistry that's natural, just naturally long lasting. Also, remember we were talking about a name change for these two, and I was talking about how we were talking about Fuego House, we were talking about all these different names, and they ended up with the House of Fire, which was what did we call that one? Fuego House.
Yep. I have a tag finish for them if they don't have a name for it already.
What's that?
The Roof is on Fire.
Oh, I like that a lot.
I like it. I liked it. I don't know. I when I saw it on TV and like how it came, like I thought it was pretty cool. Like yeah, they're as we talked about as a tag team, it's just so easy to put them two together.
Havoc just jumped into two different things to get chat from both.
Let's get this pop.
There we go. This is awesome, Chance. We're coming from the crowd. The match was just badass. A little under 18 minutes long. I've had time to watch both Kogar brothers. They need to stay. I feel like they became essential almost overnight. Also, they're both a link to GCW's past. They are excellent storytellers. They have solid promos. The creativity is flowing out of their ears. In ring, they can and will do anything. They know how to manipulate the crowd. Fans love them and respect them. They're willing to blur the lines. They're what I would consider the perfect type of independent wrestlers for GCW. Is there anything you want to add to that by any chance?
For me, it's seeing Otis kind of excelling and getting a big rub off of this that I didn't kind of expect it would happen as much. I thought he might just be kind of the heater kind of for Atticus and be left on the side, but he's been a prominent role and a figure in GCW since he's came with Atticus, and I'm happy for it because like I feel like we're seeing the best of Otis right now and at the best of Atticus at this just to be frank there, because he's just as you were saying, the storytelling, the in-ring, the emotions from the crowd. He has literally brought everything to GCW on his return. And I know we'll kind of get to this later, but I'm kind of glad now we might have a focus for Atticus here moving forward.
I hope so. I feel like he's been kind of floating around a little bit, and I'd like to see him get locked in on someone. I think Sam is going to be who he's locked in there. We'll talk about that one maybe a little more later. We have weapons. Doors and chairs are in play. And just like that, we have a hardcore match. Otis pulled referee Chad Rico out of the ring during the count. It got dirty very quickly. Fuego's tied to the middle rope ring by the ring rope, by his mask. Sam is then alone in the ring. Otis and Atticus gang up on Sam. He's getting skewers stuck into his hands. Ouch. He takes a vicious chair shot to the head. Atticus gives him skewer devil horns, and Otis hits him with a massive chair shot. Brain hemorrhage onto the chair, and Sam is out. Otis backflip off the top rope and covers Sam for 3. Our winners were the Kogar brothers. A major attack then went down on Sam after the match. Atticus injured him by bludgeoning him in the head and causing a major gash. Referees and staff are ringside attending to him. Fuego is finally untied and makes a beeline straight to Sam. He's obviously concerned. Brett gets on the mic and says Sam was taken to a hospital nearby to get some medical assistance. So, bam, right there, I think we have a story.
The silence, too, when they were going to attend to Sam, the silence in the crowd, but also I think how they captured it on a Triller was super impactful to the story, like especially the Triller side. Like that was like the dead silence, and you just hear like, I don't know if it felt like they turned off the sound, which is fine, but there was like a hush in the crowd. The set messages. Like I messaged you too right away, and like it was cool. It was a very cool angle. How they did it, and Atticus, like, you got to pay attention to even the stuff he's saying in the ring. Like, he's making you pay attention to his videos, how his entrances, his mask, his gear. He's making you pay attention to all these little details if you want a cool story. And him kind of mentioning and blaming this all on Fuego with the mask, I think is really kind of cool. And it kind of like, I don't mind this. It's kind of taken off what Mason did with Fuego before they kind of went apart from each other, but he's actually finishing the job and using like using Sam as like, hey, like you could have saved him, but you just wanted to keep your mask. And I love it. It's like he's using the mental manipulation and the mental fuckery that Atticus brings to his character. It's such good work, and I'm not only happy to see him and Otis kind of seem like this is a story, but to have it to be Stackhouse and Fuego, like, and in Arizona with, like, as I said, those are 2 of the most crowd favorites in AUC for GCW at the 2 shows I've been to, at least. And from what I've seen, to get the heat, that's super smart booking on like where to have it, who to have it against. That like Fuego and Sam Stackhouse are going to be a great tag team to go against Atticus. And like, I think they're going to lose. And I think this is going to maybe build the Cogers too and lead them to Price and Cole. And I think that's going to be awesome to see. Hopefully the story continue through 3 different tag teams. But Fuego, like, yeah, it was just awesome. Like, I'm happy that all 4 of these have a purpose now and a story to tell. And after that first match, and now I want to see these videos that he puts out, that Atticus comes out with, hopefully going against this. I want to see Fuego on commentary, but drop some shit on Atticus, to get like some tension. And if he does any more commentary, I just feel like there's so many ways they could go with this tag feud. And I'm happy because this is a story, and look how much we're spending times on this story, and it's just something simple like this. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen for both teams in the future.
Can't touch that. Well said.
And I think it just elevated both teams too. Even in the loss, like Sam Stackhouse looked like a fucking beast, and Fuego went off, but like he kind of seems like now I'm wondering now with his character too, they could kind of do something with him and Stackhouse if they choose to do so. If later in the future with Fuego, just kind of switch him up and keep him fresh.
He's one of those wrestlers it seems like fans really give a shit about. You don't fuck with Sam.
Oh yeah, I kind of going out to see Clope stuff. Like when it's people that we've had on, we kind of get to know, especially Stackhouse. He's probably, I think he is our most frequent guest. We talk to him all the time, and such a good dude. And man, the beating those chair shots were brutal. Like I had to turn away. Like I some of these chair shots are just insane. And then with the skewers to the hands, that was so cool and innovative and simple. Like seeing him crawl over and take a skewer and fuck that, take another skewer. Like they told such a cool story and emotional story in that little time at the end. And I'm excited to see what comes next. I want to see pissed off Stackhouse, man. That's going to be good.
Oh my God. You know what? That's eventually coming. It can't be all smiles. One day he might lose his smile and just go ape shit. Wouldn't that be amazing?
If Fuego can't control him. And then they could go where, hey, Fuego can't control him, and Stackhouse turns heel, and or Fuego could be the heel, and they could go a lot of cool stuff with outside of this feud that they're already going now. But I'm excited because the story, this is fun to talk about because there's a lot of different ways and things that we could possibly be seeing in the future.
Well, I'll just kind of give a quick little personal story, but after that match, I picked up my phone and I'm like, I better not be talking to Sam from a hospital for the second time. No shit. So that's the real emotion, guys. This is what was going on. Was I picked up that phone minutes after that match and I went, I swear to God, if he calls me or if he texts me and says he's in the hospital again, I'm gonna lose it. And so he got bludgeoned pretty good, man. So it happens. That's what happens when you fuck with a Kogar.
It was emotional too. And I think it elevated everybody. It just really put the dampen on the Atticus, like, hey, you guys want to cheer for us, but we're still gonna be these bastard heels that you're gonna be booing us by the end of this match. Because the Arizona crowd was cheering him pretty strong too. And I was happy to see it, but seeing where that would go with his character and Otis, they did a great turn with it.
Popular. Can't deny it.
All right, our next matchup are even going to be fun, or more fun. Zack Sabre Jr. going against Mance Warner.
Mance was out first. He's all business today. Get something straight. This was a main event level effort by both men. 24 minutes long. This was a brawl. Not as much as a wrestling match, though. It just was kick, punch constantly. It went all over the venue. There were not as many rest holds as you would expect there to be. This wasn't about holds and sportsmanship. They were literally just trying to beat the shit out of each other. They told an incredible story. Fans were chanting fight forever. Zack was brutal at the end here. Octopus choke into a different type of chokehold, stomping in his head into a chair, finally rolls Mance on his back and into another chokehold for the win. Very rare to get a win on Mance Warner, but again, this was Zack Sabre Jr. Our winner here, Zack Sabre Jr. What were your thoughts on this one?
Oh, Zack Sabre Jr. That's so fun to chant, man. That was so fun. It's to see Zack Sabre in Phoenix, Arizona at the Nile Theater was kind of just a sight to behold because I've loved Zack for a very long time of his career, man. And he is phenomenal. He still keeps on just improving. And even though his style doesn't change, he keeps it fresh and changes it up each match where it looks like it's a different match. And he just fits right in. As you said, Mance came out, looked like for a fight, but I loved how Zack came out and it came right up right there and like got in Mance's face, took off the jacket, like, let's go. Like, I'm ready. Like there was no fucking around. Like they just wanted to get to it. And I'm all for this version of Mance Warner now as not being the title holder. I want to see Mance get all the tough badasses from New Japan, the Gabe kids, the Zack Sabres, like keep them coming. I want to see a lot more Mance Warner going against these badasses from anywhere because these matchups and styles bring out the best of Mance. And Mance is on a roll right now with his Impact run, what he's doing now, even not being champion in GCW and still having match of the nights. Like that's 2 nights in a row where he's up there. Me personally, I give it to Desperados, but very, very close second was this match and the energy that the crowd brought all night. And Zack Sabre Jr. just enjoying the GCW atmosphere and getting crazy, having drinks during a fucking match. Just seeing him enjoy the GCW culture is always a fun sight to see. And I could see these fucking two wrestle. Like we were chanting fight forever. This was like one of the rare times I'm like, yeah, I could see these two fight again and again and again. Like keep it coming and keep Zack Sabre Jr. coming in GCW. Like I just love like seeing these big names come from other companies and just accepting and loving the GCW fans, the culture, and what the GCW shows are about, and keep on coming back because you just see it's totally a different environment for them that puts them in a different mindset that they perform differently and so much better, I think, for us GCW fans. And Zack Sabre Jr. is another one of these names. Please bring back as much as possible.
NJPW period has just been instant upgrades to our card. and it's in the wrestling department, and I feel like that's the place where we could really use it at times. No lie. Yeah, man, hardcore death match mixed with Zack Sabre Jr. style wrestling. You've got a dangerous company if you get GCW on that level.
Yeah. And like Max has been killing it. Like once again, like I said, I'm always worried about champions when they lose the belt. What's going to happen with them? Are we not going to see him as much? Especially with him going to Impact. Like, no, he's showing up and getting even these bigger matches. Like this is kind of what I was talking about with Screwball. I want to see Mance against these Zack Sabre Juniors, and I don't want to see him against the Jordan Cruzes at this point. Like we built these people up for a reason. Like now's the time to utilize that build up and to get the payoff for the investment that we've done for fans and for the company. And seeing Mance Warner step up to the plate and deliver still, like, it's still hard now. Even going back, seeing not too much of Effie's title defenses, I still go back to Hammerstein. I wish Mance somehow would have came out of Hammerstein as champion and still giving us these main event level performances. And I'm happy to see it.
You know, yeah, this was just main event level performance. He didn't even need a belt to do this. Exactly, he gave us a full show. A real champion maybe doesn't even need a belt sometimes.
So Havoc, I'll be honest, like in-ring action, give me this match. This was match of the weekend for me, but personally laughing at the Desperado spot of the night, and that match and the energy was the moment of the weekend for me. I'm still had tears coming home watching it tonight and talking about it. That was great. But yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Mance, fight forever, any day of the week. I'm in for it. Our next matchup was for the GCW tag titles, as it was the Garbage Daddies versus Starboy Charlie and Titus Alexander. I think they called him, oh my gosh, something Crush.
That's my bad, actually. I didn't write that down. I've been a terrible partner tonight.
I wanted to remember it, but I forgot it. Didn't write it down either.
I'm going to look real quick just to see if I can catch it, because it was like the Crush Boys.
Crush Boys, okay. I knew what a name. Crush in there. I liked it, though. I liked seeing them. It was kind of interesting seeing them as tag partners for once after everything they've been through. It was kind of cool to see, but I definitely could see the Crush Boys moving forward as a tag team. So who's the Crush Gals? I'm ignorant here. I don't know who the Crush Gals is.
This is what Great One's good for.
Yep. Educate me here.
Well, I'll keep going while he types just for a second there. This was a very youthful tag team match. Starboy's 22, Titus is 24, Alec 26, and Cole 27. If GCW is about pushing quality, young, and hungry talent, then this was the showcase here. Speaking of quality, tag rules were followed for quite a while until it broke down into a very fun match towards the end. This is my kind of match. I like the straightforward, and then I like the eventual breakdown into the GCW style craziness. Our winner here were the Garbage Daddies with the garbage disposal. What were your thoughts on this one, B?
I agree with you at the end. I prefer, especially if it's for the GCW tag titles and this kind of tag team, I like to see the tags, the rules being in place, but I also love the flexibility of the rules to let Alex Price just fucking fly all over the place, let Titus Alexander fly all over the place. This was a tag. Yeah, I agree with you. This is my kind of tag match. I loved it. The crowd was into it again, but all four competitors, as you said, that was just like the perfect, like youthful, like presentation of what could be happening in GCW, but wrestling in the future. And all four of them just mesh well together. Their chemistry, their styles, their hunger, their willingness to go out there and go and steal the show from everything that's been on. I appreciate the Crush Boys working together as tag team titles or tag team challengers in this one, but the champions, once again, as you were saying earlier, they're growing and still putting together tag team maneuvers and gelling, and their chemistry, you're starting to see it I'm starting to see it kind of mesh well together now, like how the East-West Express kind of how fastly we saw them, their chemistry go. I'm starting to see that now from the Garbage Daddies, and every single match you see, they're just getting better and more confident as a tag team. And it's actually been kind of cool seeing them representing GCW as tag teams and represent kind of the indie scene as tag team champions. They just are another level of energy. And I agree. I think a couple people said it before, but you probably have too. At this moment, I don't see a place in the main event scene for Cole and Alec Price, and I would prefer to see them being used to build this tag division with tag teams like the Crush Boys, with tag teams, as we mentioned, all these other tag teams earlier. Like, I would love to see them grow as a tag team and get better and build themselves up to be better singles competitors as they were. Like, they were already in the like upper tier singles competitors in GCW. And I think just tag run and the experience they're going to get and the rub, I think it will be used to elevate them to the next levels as singles competitors. And then we get to see how much they got as singles competitors as well.
I also feel like this was the right time for Cole to have something new, and this tag team was something new for him. I feel like he needed something fresh, and this was exactly it.
And I thought Price last year, what he needed was that JCW title win. I thought that would have been perfect for him. But after he lost the title, we were kind of saying, like, he was on such a momentum going into that tournament. And then, like, you lost all that momentum. What's next for Alec Price? And it's what's two next. And they're killing it with whatever opportunities they've been given. And I love them as singles competitors. But I think right now I want to see them get better and grow this tag division to that way when some of these maybe names are gone, or maybe they've built their names up even more in prestige to take over GCW's main event scene. Our next matchup was for the GCW World Championship as Effie defends the belt against Super Crazy.
Phoenix is definitely an A-town. It got the Elton John version of Yellow Brick Road. I'm jealous. A very interesting match. We have young versus old here. Crazy was also a very good sport, obviously. He smiled many times throughout this match, even when they got a little handsy at times. Super Crazy got put in Effie's variant of the tarantula, something Super Crazy pulled earlier that weekend. We spoke about that. Crazy threw in a chair and door. He was trying to hit Effie. I always thought that was a little dangerous. He actually, I think, almost popped him or hit him with the chair when he threw it in. Effie put the $20 price tag on Crazy's head. That was from the door. So if anybody has any questions, a door in Arizona costs you about $20. Might be worth thinking about if you ever want to bring something to the show next time. Our winner was Effie with the sack rider through a door bridge. Sorry.
I don't think Raleigh's going to let you in the front door with the carrying the door. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it'll help them out and save them a trip. Who knows?
You know what? We'll talk about Dr. Redacted's match next, but I think people did bring some weapons, right? Or built weapons?
No. They, no. It was, no. I'll just keep it.
Okay. I didn't know if maybe a fan had an idea or if just someone behind the scenes said, I'm going to build this, and then Redacted worked with him. So
no. It was kind of like, Redacted wanted some stuff and then they got some stuff done. That's pretty much
cool. Okay, good.
Yeah, all that fuckery was nice to see, and especially the doors in this match. And Effie, once again, I didn't care so much about the title defense, but it is what it is. I love how Super Crazy, as you said, kind of accepted this match and the role and what it was going to be and went to the super gazy part. I love the super gazy. That was a pretty fun little moment in the match. And it just seemed like this was a fun match. Super Crazy enjoying the GCW, enjoying an Effie style matchup. And Effie, once again, I think going out of his way to showcase he's more than just those Effie spots. I could get a Crazy with this legend. I could do the lucha and craziness with Sydney. He's showing he's flexible and adaptable, but we're seeing stories and how much they mean and get out of emotions from fans with this championship. And it's cool that he defended it all over these companies. We haven't seen much of it since Hammerstein. I want to build his reputation and title run with us first, and then he can start defending it in other companies again, because I feel like us as the GCW fans need something with that title right now, because that's, I think, what's expected from the GCW World Championship after everything that we've seen with Effie throughout this last year or two. I want to see now, especially with Collective coming up, where are they going to go with Effie going into Collective?
43 days.
Or I like that. That's a cool little countdown there. We got to keep that for sure.
Okay, so I'm not going to lie, everyone. I bought that board and thought about what I was going to do with it later, so I was kind of confused. I didn't know if I was going to put up like a question or if we were going to do something like around the horn type thing. You know what I mean?
Stat of the day. All right, Woody Page.
Dude, I thought about a stat a day. I thought about like a wrestling quote. So I don't know what I'm going to do just yet, but I don't know. I think this is kind of cool. I like the countdown, and then I like to just put up who's our next guest we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I told my wife to do something fun.
That was
with
a
it.
cool
She's
way
like,
to
okay.
spoil Matt, or not spoil, but announce a Matt Tremont. I thought that was kind of cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I was actually going to put up a piece of paper or something and then just
I
kind
was
of put
gonna
it down.
reveal
But it
it. I was
shines.
thinking some like a little reveal would have been nice, but it's
It
probably a little bit
shines through the
harder.
paper. It shines through the paper
Oh,
when I
you would
put
have
it up.
spot shining right through.
Yeah, it would have
We
been
should have
totally
just done it.
amateur.
That would have been perfect for us. We should have just done it
Yeah.
anyway. Like that's a
Yeah.
big reveal. It's already people already saying it. Like, how do you know? Like hey, that's what you guys think.
But I mean,
Oh,
people can't
funny.
see it, and my wall is like feet behind from where my hand is, but that thing is 3 feet tall. So that's
Oh,
a pretty big ass board, actually. Anyway, though, yeah, I mean, I do like this countdown and things that we have for now, but at some point, yeah, I'll try to figure out what to put up there. For this is cool for right now, at least, because that tells people what's going on. But and also, I had to put our GCW Plant Podcast flag up there. That will always stay by me. So,
that was cool
you
to
didn't
see.
announce.
No, I
You didn't
didn't.
announce the main event. Okay, good, because
I don't think we
it's been a
announced the
long
winner of
night.
Effie's match, but yeah, Effie
Oh,
does
Effie won.
successfully retain the belt. Yeah.
Bada boom.
Uh,
Bada bing.
excited to see what you do with the rest of it. Havoc's excited.
I'm trying to keep it simple. We'll figure it out. I need to redo, like I said, our old lights are still set up around here. I think I'm going to just do what I did with the other ones and just do lights around the flag. And then I got a big old bookshelf over here, but I'll figure that out later. Like I said, there's a lava lamp up there, but it's hard to see. And I wanted to put it at a lower level, this one, but it's like this much too tall. So it doesn't fit in between the things. So now I've got a lava lamp that's too damn high up here, but that's okay. Fuck it.
Oh, I agree with you, Reed. No, like I'm not trying to discount the match. The match was good, like in Crazy and Effie, Crazy and Effie got crazy as I thought Crazy and Effie would. Like it was a good match. I'm a story person. I like to see matches for a reason or for build up. Even wins and losses could tell a story if you actually make them matter. And it could be as simple as wins and losses telling stories, but in wrestling it doesn't always happen that way. But I enjoyed the match as well. I want to see a story for my champion or champions plural. Here we go. TJ. Okay. I have it.
Call you TJ.
Sorry.
We can do
TJ
that.
is now Havoc.
Tijuana.
Try.
Tijuana Havoc Pro Wrestling. There we go.
That's a venue of the next Zona show.
Ooh, Tijuana.
I have TJ, you gotta do the Zona show now for Havoc.
Yeah.
Book it. All right.
You said also appreciate the kind words with the graphics. Yep.
Those graphics look awesome. Like I said, sometimes they do fool me until I see the name. Because I don't see I just see the announcement. I don't see like the full picture. I just see it. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? And then I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Our main events from the Nile Theater, just being honest, is a death match, as it was Dr. Redacted versus Ciclope. Somehow, some way, Ciclope made it to the next night.
Right? Okay, so I haven't done it in a little while. I felt like doing it tonight. Every now and then, I do a minute by minute of a death match. Tonight, Dr. Redacted versus Ciclope made sense to me, especially since Dr. Redacted was just on the show. So yeah, B, take it easy, sit back, relax for a minute. I'll just go ahead and tell everybody a story. All right, so Dr. Redacted versus Ciclope. This ended up going 12 and a half minutes. On minute 1, we had a handshake, and it transitions into some real wrestling. Redacted is grabbing gusset plates from a plastic bag, and he throws one to Ciclope. They're plunging gussets into each other's heads. The doctor applies them to Ciclope's arms, and Ciclope sticks one into Redacted's head. On to minute 2. Ciclope, huge missile dropkick. He goes for a tope, and Redacted hits him in the head with a chair. Ciclope then kicks a door into Redacted, and he falls onto the floor. Minute 3, they're now fighting in the crowd. Redacted slams the door into Ciclope, then throws it at him. Both are bleeding. Redacted is setting up a door bridge, and then a door is thrown at Ciclope. Minute 4, Redacted is choking Ciclope in a chair. He runs and cannonballs at Ciclope, knocking him out of the chair, and then he finally rolls him into the ring. Now we're finally back in the ring. Minute 5, Redacted unintentionally gets wrapped in barbed wire and hits Ciclope with it. Then Ciclope gets crushed under a barbed wire door. This elicits GCW chants from the crowd. Minute 6, Redacted sets up another barbed wire door. Cyclope hits a huge spear. Redacted eventually gets up, and he gets speared through that barbed wire door. And there's a cover. Redacted kicks out at 2. Minute 7, Redacted's on the apron. His legs kicked out from under him. Cyclope hits a crossbody, sending Redacted off of the ring and through a door bridge onto the floor. Minute 8, there's a cover. Redacted kicks out at 2, and there's a little bit of a recovery period here. Minute 9, Redacted grabs an ironing board. He hits Cyclope with it. Cyclope puts Redacted down and then has thrown him into an ironing board with a spine buster. Minute 10, Redacted's on the mat. He gets covered with the ironing board. Cyclope hits him with a chair. Redacted then eats a huge splash and cover. Redacted kicks out at 2. Minute 11 to the finish. A garbage can is retrieved. Redacted's head is placed on the can. Cyclope goes to climb the ropes, and Redacted looks up and hits him with the green mist. Cyclope is then blinded. Redacted hits a frog splash and covers. Cyclope kicks out at 2. Redacted places a trash can on Cyclope, who's laying on the mat. Redacted goes up top, hits a huge splash on Cyclope, and covers for 3. Our winner here was Dr. Redacted. I just put in that was really fun, and I love the variety of weapons. Thanks for holding in there. Poor Reed is getting sleepy. I told you I was going to tell you a story, dude. Anyway, there we go. Our winner was Dr. Redacted. What did you think about this one, man?
Once again, I thought it was a good way, main event, a good way to reward the Nile Theater with some death matches and a death match at the end of the night. Dr. Redacted and Cyclope, that was the match that kind of made me get the ticket to Phoenix to kind of solidify it. I just know Dr. Redacted was just like Justice. That main event I knew was going to be nuts, and it was. And I just knew Redacted and Cyclope would go crazy, and they did. Redacted's had 9 technical matches in GCW, and he's now main eventing like 3 or 4 of them. We've talked about it on the podcast with them last week, but his I forgot the exact words, but just meteoric rise in the deathmatch scene in Indies and especially in GCW, getting the main events. And now, yes, because it was a death match, it affects match basis, but whatever. Like, you're ending the show with Dr. Redacted on it and causing his chaos and seeing it. And from the moment he got that first opportunity at Backyard Wrestling in GCW, he has gone balls to the ball. He's going crazy. He's literally giving it everything out there. We talked with him and Justice. They was like, who's going to be the first one to tap out with all the punishment and not to go take the next crazy spot? Redacted and Cyclope, those two are just, they won't say no to anything. And if this was like any other venue other than the Nile, if this was like a traditional death match, I just couldn't imagine what kind of chaos they did. But for what, as you said, the weapons that they had, and once again, I think they showed you could get bloody and ultra violent without the light tubes and still have a death match without the light tubes. And Redacted's been fun watching him grow and just seeing him excel and take these opportunities and knock out of the park. Like, his rise is we've seen it outside of GCW, and now we're seeing it like right in our face in GCW. And the crowd, like, at first doesn't really expect it because it's only been like 9 matches, or if like these. So here's what I wanted to say to Phoenix. Like, there was a lot of newer fans, but newer, excited, like not even into wrestling. Like, I heard this place had a cool show here last time. Like check it out. And like, you saw match 1. I saw 2 guys across the way. Like, it was their first show, and Dern Masha and Rob Shit, they literally like looked at each other as the actions in front of them were like, what the fuck is going on? Like, they had everybody's first reaction at a GCW show when the action is on you. And you just saw, like, the rest of the night, I just saw them looking at each other like, did you see that? Like, the holy shit. And Dr. Redacted is having these matches that is having these holy shit moments. And seeing his growth has just been awesome to see. And I was actually surprised he picked up the win over Cyclope. I thought Cyclope would get the win here just because of Dr. Redacted kind of being new. But if we start using some of these wins and losses and the crowd reactions from Doctor, I see him being a major player for Matt Tremont's Ultraviolent Championship. And I guess we could talk to him about it next week of who he thinks is possibly next big threat to come after that belt. But for me, all my money now, we talked about it kind of going into the Hammerstein Ultraviolent ladder match of who we kind of wanted to see go out of it. Dr. Redacted is now still up there at the top of my list. Like, I wanted to see Justice, and if it wasn't going to be Justice, Doc, because of all the craziness. And we haven't seen the ultraviolet title since Hammerstein, and Matt Tremont's our champion. This is what I was afraid of, but I know we got a couple deathmatch cities coming up here, and Tremont's going to defend that belt like crazy and have awesome death matches. But I just wish we would have had a little bit more in between time, because we've seen more of Redacted and other of these deathmatch names than Tremont. So I don't know. I think this was just another moment of Dr. Redacted just showing the world with who he's going against, Ciclope, of how crazy he's can and willing to do, and the crowd just loves it. Frank wrote Chaotic Good for him. That I love that as like kind of like a moniker for him, or like a mindset.
Chaotic
like,
neutral for me. I think he can go evil if he wants to.
Good, and he could go chaotic evil. Like I think, yeah, the chaotic neutral is a good thing, and like from the moment he comes out pushing people and setting the tone. Like I got shoved. I was ready for it this time. I didn't fall on my ass this time, but I was ready for it. Like, it didn't fall on my ass, but just the energy, like you just see the crowd right away. Like he's pushing people. The crowd's like, yeah, let's go. Like he brings the energy to a main event, to how you wanted the crowd to be energized to end the show. And yeah, I'm just happy to see him get these opportunities and knock it out of the park, as we were kind of talking about earlier with some of the other talent. When you get these opportunities, you got to take advantage of it. And he's taken every opportunity that GCW's given him and has not looked back or looked away or shied away at all. And I hope it does possibly lead to a UV title run coming up here in the future.
I'll make a prediction. It could be a year from now. It might even be a little more. If everything goes currently the way it's going to, Chuds, watch out for Lil Sicko. It's only a matter of time. If you haven't seen him, you might want to go check him out. He's very new, but it's like independent Darby Allin. You might want to look into that, but I can tell you that there's somebody who is putting him under his wing right now, and they're going to be working through the independents, I believe, for whoever knows how long. But when he's GCW ready, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing Little Sicko over there. And I just wanted to put that right now, that stamp on there, so I can say it in maybe like a year that it was said. But at the current pace, yes, he's somebody I think he's going to do well. And I know the Chuds have been talking about him, asking about him. And yeah, Reed Harris Cooper, if he doesn't die in the next year. Dude, if you haven't seen him, you guys need to just check out where you can. That kid is another one. It's like a Juggalo and Darby Allin together, and he has no brake pedal, and he doesn't care about heights. It's wild. Had an excellent match with Murdoch last weekend. Yeah, anyway, just highly recommended for anyone who's trying to check out some newer deathmatch talent, because it's hard to find some out there. I know it seems weird, but yeah, there's not a lot of new deathmatch talent over this last maybe year or so.
And also, like, not even just that, like, by the time we see them in GCW, like, how can they step up to our expectations and what we expect from GCW level death matches? And we've seen most of the people step up and knock it out of the park. We've seen some people step up, and it's like not quite there yet. And yeah, like Dr. Redacted for 9 matches in GCW, he was one of those ones that right away took advantage of it. And I want to see some more names do what he's done, take that opportunity by the balls and make it your own and do something with it. And it's like he's gotten really good names to go against, like Ciclope, John Wayne Murdoch, obviously all the talent in the Hammerstein match. Or Invite, I think he had it was Or Invite too. Like, oh no, it wasn't Or Invite. That was Nick Cage versus Or Invite. But we've seen Doc get these big, high-profile names in the deathmatch scene for especially for Ultraviolet Championship. So, seeing that momentum going has been fun to watch. Thank you.
Yeah, it's LIL, Lil Sicko. Again, these are like deep cuts, but if you go and watch them, you're going to see someone with no brake pedal, very green. But I do know that there's someone very, very deep in the deathmatch scene that's taking Lil Sicko under his wing, and I really do think good things will come of it. So look for him down the road, unless he fails or his teacher fails, and I know his teacher will not fail him. So we'll see what happens. I think that's pretty much it. I'll just kind of maybe mention one more time. Boom, March 11th. Next weekend, or next week on Tuesday, Matt Tremont will be here. We're going to put him through the grinder and see how he does with our questions. You know how it is. Bring your questions to chat. We'll get them answered for you. Please be patient, because we go through so many questions, but we feel it's worth it.
And Connor, if you're watching now or live, might have to limit you to like 5 good questions, even though you got like always 10 awesome questions or more. Like
I
might
love
have to
him.
limit you to 5. I know. I'm just joking. Bring all the questions that you have, man.
Yeah, bring them all, because worst case scenario, you can always star them and we'll ask them later, because at some point we may run out of questions. You never know.
Hopefully we start doing some round 2s here soon.
Dude. Well, so that's another thing.
I mean, I'm saying we got enough round 1
yeah.
still coming up. Like we got a bunch of new people still before we start recycling.
I will tell fans right now, we have months of wrestlers we haven't touched yet, guys. We do. We have yeses just waiting. I'll tell you this much. We have so many people waiting to get on for interviews. I have to ask Brett for the fucking dates ahead of time, non-public, so that I can find out when we can book the next one. If I knew up until July, we could easily book the next 3-4 months out with wrestlers easily, guys. People are now wanting to come on because we've been doing this long enough, and we get a little bit of respect because, again, we're not perfect. We're amateurs, but our hearts are in the right place, and people see that. So just like you guys, man, we all wake up and try our best. What we get is what we get, you know? Sometimes we start at 5 minutes past due, like today. Shit happens.
Yeah, I think too, after this weekend, the 2 people I talked to that kind of want to hop on, we're gonna make the chuds and make you guys all happy. And yeah, as you said, there's plenty more that we've talked to before, and yeah, obviously it's gonna be fun, and we're catching up on it. So yeah, a year tomorrow would be Game Changer Weekly, but our 52nd episode would actually be next week. Yeah, because we skipped that one.
We skipped one because I was sick as a dog, and I think also elections were going on, and I felt like that was more important than, I'm not even a political person, but I could have fought through it, I think, when I was sick, and we would have had a perfect year, but I wasn't great at the time. Excuse me. Yeah, also, nobody got bit by the mute bug tonight. I think that's one of the first times.
Are you talking about Drew Parker, TJ? Yeah, Drew Parker would be absolutely sick to have on for sure. Yeah, I think I got hit one. I hit myself on one mute button.
Did you?
I caught myself. Damn. I didn't say nothing. You guys, nobody noticed, so I had to just keep on going. Drew Parker. Yeah, Drew Parker would be sick.
He's somebody that we'd love to get on sometime, and we're hoping for the best. That's somebody that really is like, that's his dude.
That's what I thought it was about Drew Blood. Dude, when Emil said that name, I never heard this name, so I thought he was fucking with me. Thought it'd be, hey, some cool wrestler should have this name. I didn't know there's actually a wrestler, Drew Blood. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. We got to get you to watch a little NHB sometime. We got to have you watch a little bit of the chains. There's a couple deathmatch people.
I had some conversations this weekend about my ICW watching. I think I need to spend more time of investing into the stories instead of just catching the big key matches that so if it's talent like that I like, I'll go watch their matches, but like just for the matches and like that's it. Like I don't watch throughout the whole show to hear the commentary, to hear the stories that they're building. I'm really just using it for that. But after the conversation I heard this week from a couple of fans and people out in Phoenix, that might be changing with hear some, and obviously the talk we had with Danny and hearing all the stuff that I was not aware of that they're doing. There is a lot of good stuff that ICW and NHB is doing, and I have talked about going and getting involved a little bit more there.
Nice.
Like the matches and the company and watching more things, not getting involved with. Sorry, but I said that right away. I'm like, oh no, that sounded bad. Just get involved.
You had me nervous.
Or watching it on a more serious basis instead of here or there. But obviously, I always say that about a lot of different wrestlers and companies and shows I want to watch. And yeah, the IWTV backlog is getting pretty backlogged.
Well, like for me right now, I was just saying I've been deep diving IWA Deep South. I wanted to get through DMDU. I haven't watched any of their Deathmatch Down Under stuff lately. I
haven't watched any of the later ones. I watched their first couple.
I think that's pretty much off the top of my head. Yeah. That's been it so far.
Obviously
NHB
talking with Danny, with Doctor, and some other people we've talked to. Like, I do want to get into more ICW. Obviously, there's a lot more. I think I'm doing myself a disservice of not going out and checking it out. Like, I love the death matches. I love everything GCW does, but there's the talent and they do some other stuff. I do want to check it out, but That's what is been cut. That's why I always use kind of GCW for. They come into us, we see them for the first or second time, and oh shit, we go check them out, and now all of a sudden we're big fans of these people and we see them a lot more. So that's obviously why GCW is so good. It has opened up my eyes to a lot more wrestling and companies and names, but I guess that's also the downfall, right?
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, though, we've been asked a million times. Everybody wants us to expand into independent wrestling and whatnot, but we've got so much going on at GCW. I mean, get a hold of Schlack. Schlack was at GCW. We can talk to him when we get a chance. I mean, there are a lot of people that we have that we're like, you know what, we need to get to. Fuck cancel. No. Cancellation is done. It only works for people that believe in it.
We're on month of piss bread off of it, getting all these interviews.
No. We've been
piss them off next.
I think that's another thing to say because it's been the end of the year. We're very thankful for every single performer and Brett and Danny who came on this show for nothing to come talk to the fans. And you have no idea. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Like we are so very fortunate to catch that last interview with Brandon Kirk.
I was talking about that this weekend, how lucky we were. And people were saying like, you have no idea like how lucky you are. I'm like, you have no idea how much we know how lucky we are that happened.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if anybody's noticing, but you go and look at Danny and you look at a lot of these other interviews. We are giving the longest, most in-depth interview of any performer's career that we've found. If you go back and look,
our Wawa orders. I'm just joking.
No, but seriously, if you look at it, you won't find anyone with a longer Brandon Kirk interview. You won't find anyone with a longer Danny DeMonto interview. Like these people are coming in. These people. That's a terrible thing to say. These performers are coming in knowing that they're going to have a respectful, mature interview. And they are respectful and mature enough to respect us back, and we've been very thankful
we ain't
because
trying to
of
dirt
that.
Dive for that either. I think that's another thing too. We ain't trying to get all that dirt and to cause the tea and make the clips. Like we just want to hear some good stories and learn. That's for me. That's why I always use those. That's why I love the interviews. Like just kind of sitting back and listening because I learned so much through those things. Like I held up my notepad earlier. Like this notepad's almost empty. Like every show I'm writing notes and stuff to check out and like. I just love I turn into a fan and just listen and learn and just have fun. And what we've been getting with DeMonto and Dr. Redacted and Bremer Brett's and Effie's, like we've had really good like conversations that stay on topic and don't get into that stuff that we don't like. But I know some of our Chud fans, they want the drama, but not for us. But sometimes the drama does kind of just create itself.
Drama can sometimes just come with the person when they walk in the door, and that's perfectly fine. We understand that. We just don't push or prod anyone because we feel it's like not dirty but dirty. Yeah. And because we've held a standard that we self-imposed on ourselves, we've gotten more respect for not being that type. We've been told that directly to our face. You guys aren't shoveling trash. And imperfect as we may be, everybody at least knows that our hearts are in the right place. And that really does matter. You know, maybe we're not like dunking the basketball, but we're trying hard as shit to dribble it right.
We're doing the Globetrotters. We're passing that ball around and then we're going to put it in where it counts. We don't need to do all the slam dunks and stuff. We can just
That's right. We know how to handle balls. We were doing so good tonight.
I was just about to say too, why don't you go check out GCW Patreon for the history of GCW. Part 2 came out. History of ZZW with Brett came out, and definitely got to check out part 1 and part 2. You did excellent work there, John, in that interview, and those have been fun. Those have definitely been fun to listen to as a fan.
Part 2, I'm just going to tell anyone who's a listener, if they go over to Patreon and pay for it, do it. I worked up Brett a little bit in number 2. In part 2, I got him going a little bit, and it was all for fun. He really enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, History of the World part 2. Hey, serious though, guys, I hope you're really just enjoying. We're really trying to do what we can to just put our stamp down anywhere we can on GCW and independent wrestling. We're really trying to hold that down as much as possible. So thank you so much. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Anyway, long. No, I'm just kidding.
Live. Oh, I'm about to say it's
Shit.
11:20. I gotta get going here.
Yeah, man, we
All
got
right.
this. Again,
Got
for the East
three
Coast and
shows in 3
Central.
hours.
For the East Coast and Central tomorrow, if I can, from Cass, who is the head of Body Slam, who is the head of Game Changer Weekly, if we can get some numbers or notes or anything to kind of brag about, because this is a group effort with all of us listening, I'll let you know. But I can tell you this much: we passed over 10,000 listens quite a few months ago. That's just on YouTube, guys. Just on YouTube. That's not counting iHeart. That's not counting Twitter, Facebook, Spotify. I mean, that's not counting on that. We're just talking just 10,000 just on there. And any given night around here, if you're just following on the show, we'll get 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 live. If Brett's on or a guest, we can go 1,000 plus. Like, we started with 0. I'm not kidding. We started with 0. And like our wife, I couldn't even talk my wife into listening after a while because it was just too much for her. No shit. We'd have 4 listeners, and we knew that the 4 were me, my wife, B, and his wife. So we started with 0. And we're very thankful for everyone that listens, because this is all we got, man. This is my thing.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off there too, but like the stories like that, dude, I was on cloud 9. Like, that was cool that one of our fans gave Stackhouse a very cool and meaningful gift, and he remembered that. And yeah, those are the things that make this on a weekly basis worth it. So thank you all, listeners. Reed, have TJ, Screwball for coming in with the West Coast knowledge tonight, man. Yeah, he carried the show tonight. He dropped a lot of good knowledge, and I wanted to let him talk about that weekend of WrestleMania, to shout out all these other companies, because there's a lot of good wrestling out there this obviously WrestleMania weekend. And outside of GCW, he did lay out a lot of good other companies and shows to check out. So while you're in town checking out the GCW shows in WrestleMania, for sure go check out some of those ones that Screwball mentioned. That Deadlock Pro, I totally forgot about that show, because they haven't mentioned anything, and I forgot they announced one. So that's one too I want to look at. Great interview skills. That's on you, John. He's talking to you there.
No. We don't do that. That's thankful. Okay, so I'm not going to lie to you guys, so you understand. I have about 15 personal fun questions. You guys pretty much almost have those memorized. And then I have a bucket of about 50 plus questions that are more general. And then I add the personal information to it and kind of work them in. I've listened to, and don't kill me, guys, I love long form interview podcasts. I always have. And I want to keep it that way, because I've always felt like people can't hide themselves after about hour 2. If you really want to see who a wrestler is, talk to them after about minute 120, 121, and you'll see who the real person is in that third hour. So we always just try to dig, and we've always tried hard to respect the individual. Instead of just saying we like your backflip, we're like, no, man, we want to hear what you have to. We respect them for their minds. That sounds kind of funny, but we do. We respect them for what their thoughts are, their minds, their motivations. And nobody ever asks them those questions. All they care about is, what were you thinking on this move? And what were you,
What was so cool about backstage?
What's that?
What was so cool about backstage? That's
for me, I'll talk about that one real quick just for fun. I don't like backstage. I know it sounds weird, but I just like to put my head down, do what I need to do, and get the hell out of there. It's not for me. Yeah. That's only for wrestlers. You know what I mean? So I look at it that way. Outside of that, maybe doing some small stuff to help, like with the ring or something. But outside of that, that is not for people to be.
All right. If I could star this for next week, I could. I would.
Bro, I'll write it down right now. Give me a second. I'll write it down right now. It's going in there.
But no. Another great weekend of shows. Chat, you guys were awesome, and we got a lot of great fun stuff coming down the line here. Starting year 2 off in Game Changer Weekly. TJ, I agree with you. I want our logo on the Havoc Pro Collective ring, and I also want our logo somehow on the Collective ring. We gotta figure that out somehow.
That's big money, I think. I think that's big money too.
We gotta,
I'm gonna have to start
we
hooking
gotta
on
get
the
those
corner.
YouTube numbers.
Gotta get them. Start selling my
Uh,
body on the corner.
That reminds me. Yeah, so if you like the podcast, right down low, let's go to slamchats.com. Help support our collective ring logo fund. Oh God, Cass is gonna hate us.
Oh, that's the other thing too, guys. I mean, thank you so much for anything that's ever been done. We never asked for money or donations, so
That has ruined the word
thank you.
backstage for me too at wrestling shows. Great one. I'm sorry, John. I had to. Like that has totally ruined the word backstage at wrestling shows for me as well. Seeing the alleyway.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Okay, have it. TJ, I'm gonna send you that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, TJ.
Another show,
Yeah,
yes.
I think we fucking did it, man. It was a good show. Wow, we got through a lot. Thank you for everyone who's with us tonight. Again, if you're on the East and Central, we made it, dude. We made a year. This is our last one, show 51. Show 52 will be next week with Matt Tremont. He will be our first one of the new year, quote unquote. Let's rock it. Let's get the hell out of here. We have talked ourselves into a hole.
All right. Thank you all again. Great one. Thank you for coming on. Screwball with the great West Coast correspondent help. Reed, have it. TJ, Clown, everyone in the chat, as always. Thank you for stopping in. Blake with the quick shot at Masha and getting out of there. I love it. Yeah. Thank you all again. And here we go. Next
Love you,
week,
fam.
Bulldozer Matt Tremont next week.
Fuck yeah.
It is Bulldozer, right? I thought now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of some like other name of Dozer, something Dozer. I don't know. All right, it's late. Let's get out of here. All right. Long. Oh, there we go. We don't got the delay no more. Live.
No, live.
There go the tech issues.
Oh, that's scary.
G C
C
W.
W. Good night, fam. Love y'all.